And welcome once again to Lancashire Cricket TV. Wherever you are all around the world, welcome to Emirates Old Trafford. It's a slightly more cloudy day than we enjoyed yesterday if you were with us for Lancashire's first win of the season in their first game of the season. And here we are, 2 games in just over 24 hours to enjoy. The Lancashire Lightning today facing the Leicestershire Foxes. Lots to look forward to as we count down to the beginning of the game at 6:30. The toss has taken place. The Lightning have won it and they will bat first. We'll have the 2 captains' interviews from the middle in just a moment. But I want to introduce the guest that I have alongside me today, and that is, of course, the gentleman who many of you will recognise, Mr. Stephen Parry. Welcome back. Slippers, the order of the day. What's you stop playing and you don't have to ever wear any athletic wear for the rest of your life, is that right?
I'm just trying to stay young, so...
You're trying to stay young.
Yeah.
Good luck to you on that. We're all struggling, I have to say. How impressed were you with last night's victory for Lancashire, and how important that they did get off to a winning start?
Yeah, brilliant, and the top 6 looks really strong, some real power in it, and then the spinners look like they bowl really well as well. But I think they're a really good outfit, and obviously I know the lads really well, and they look in good shape for a really good tournament.
And how will they feel if they, by the end of the evening, have themselves 2 wins out of 2, played twice in 2 days, get the momentum, and find themselves already in a very, very strong position?
Yeah, well, obviously early win, early momentums, you want to try and get that quarter-final as soon as you can. And obviously starting 2 games at home where Lancashire are very strong, I think it's really, really important that they do get another win. I know it's stating the obvious, but it stands them in great stead and builds confidence and belief through the tournament.
I feel sorry for bowlers because you and many besides you have been such stellar performers in this particular form of the game for Lancashire, but it's that top 4 that are getting a lot of attention, certainly while Joss is here for the first 6 games, and this is his second and final match here at Emirates Old Trafford. So how much are you looking forward to them having won the toss, that top 4, and after what Liam Livingstone did yesterday, perhaps very excited?
Yeah, it is. It's going to be plenty of action, put it that way, and I'm glad I'm not bowling at them because obviously they put the bowlers under immense pressure. And, you know, it's high quality, even down to 6, 7, 8. They've got plenty of hits in with Crofty and Lammy and people like that coming at the death. So it's a really, 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 really strong batting lineup.
One that you wouldn't probably like to bowl to, I'd imagine.
Yeah, very tough. I'm happy with my slippers on.
Quite right too. So Stephen's going to be with us for the rest of the day as we build up to the beginning of the game at 6:30. You'll be able to watch it on the streams on YouTube and Facebook over the course of the next couple of hours, and BBC's Scott Reed will be taking you through with commentary. But first of all, let's hear from those captains who are with me for the toss. So we have had the toss, and we are here in the middle with Dame Villas, who has won the toss. So tell us, Dame, what are you going to do?
Yeah, I think first time winning the toss this year, so batting first. It's not working. Yeah, we're gonna bat.
You're going to bat first, which is what you like to do generally anyway, because of the pitch and the way that you tend to play.
Yeah, I think so. Sorry, just this way. Yeah, we definitely, you know, but saying that, we had a good game yesterday. We obviously chased down a big total from Derby, so we're happy either way. I think it's a good wicket, so hopefully we can get some runs on the board and then put them in a spin hopefully a bit later.
Second goal on this wicket, what did you learn from it yesterday?
No, like I said, it's a good wicket. They're always good here. I mean, this is it's a brand new wicket yesterday, and it was played very, very well. So hopefully it'll be a good game and play more of the same.
We spoke yesterday about the prospect of your top 4 and what they might do batting first. Now they're getting the chance, so what are we going to see from them?
Yeah, hopefully similar to what happened yesterday. I think it was a great power play in the way Livy went and how he saw us through towards the end. Hopefully he does that again tonight. Yeah, it's very exciting, and hopefully a lot of boundaries and not a huge amount of dot balls.
Any changes to your team?
Yeah, one change. Glee's missing out, and Tom Bailey comes in.
Lovely. Thank you very much indeed. Go well, Dave. Thank you. We're going to bring Colin in.
Cheers, guys.
Let's see if that works for you.
Let's check if this is working, yeah.
Yes, it is. What do you think about chasing today?
We all sort of batted first. It's obviously a used pitch, so we're going to have to bowl well in the first half of the game. Hopefully restrict him to about 160 would be good.
You have had to wait an extra day to a lot of people to get your campaign underway. How fresh are you feeling? How excited about what's to come?
Very excited, obviously, first game of the campaign. We had a good look yesterday at what happened here, so would have learned a lot and ready to go today.
We've seen, I think, 3 caps being given out before the game. Tell us about the exciting new additions you have to your team.
So 2 overseas, Naveen and Josh Inglis are in, and Rishi Patel makes his debut as well.
And of course, last season, the improvements that you saw, I'm sure Paul Nixon will claim it was all down to him, but how do you intend to continue those improvements for this year?
Obviously, we had a good base from last season, but that's in the past now. It's a new campaign, and we've got to start off well. It's all about momentum in T20 cricket, so we're looking to win today and get off to a good start.
Go well, Colin. Thank
Cheers,
you very much
thank you.
indeed. So Lancashire Lightning have won the toss and they will bat.
Cheers, Colin. Thank you.
So we have just over 15 minutes to go until we get underway in this Vitality Blast North Group game between the Lancashire Lightning and the Leicestershire Foxes. It is hot on the heels of the Lightning's win last night, but for the Foxes, it is their first game of this competition this season. They are very welcome to Emirates Old Trafford, and here is their team for today's game. It is number 95, Josh Inglis. Number 55, Scott Steele. Number 7, welcome back to Emirates Old Trafford for Aaron Lilly. Number 48, the captain, Colin Ackerman. Number 26, Rishi Patel. 23, Lewis Hill. Number 8 is Ben Mike. Number 78, Naveen Ul-Haq. Number 10, Callum Parkinson. Once again, a welcome back to number 93, Gavin Griffiths. And 44 is Will Davis. And now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let's hear you for the Lancashire Lightning 11 for today's game. They are number 32, Finn Allen. Number 7, Liam Livingston. Number 17, Alex Davis. And number 6 is Joss Butler. Number 15, Stephen Croft. Number 33, the Lancashire Lightning captain is Dane Villas. Number 14, Luke Wood. Number 26, Danny Lamb. Number 2, Tom Hartley. Number 8, Tom Bailey. And finally, number 28, Matt Parkinson. So that is the Lancashire Lightning lineup for today's game. I can now bring in a most revered and important guest who is alongside me. Paul Shaw is the Lancashire Women and Thunder coach, who's had a very good start to the season and is enjoying, by the tan of you, some good weather too. How pleased have you been with what the Thunder and the Lancashire Women have been able to do so far this season? And there are some leading lights. We know that they're on the England stage that play a part with you too, but also some of those coming up that we will be familiar with from the academy and, of course, with the Thunder over the last few years too.
Yes, for sure. Really happy with how things are going. We had a really good winter. We brought in some top quality coaches to work with both the academy and the Thunder squad, and really good to see the Lancashire squad performing well at the start of the season, winning their 4 games and finishing top of the North Group. And the Thunder started pretty well also, with a really young team and full of enthusiasm and delight.
And you are benefiting from a winter where you were able to spend more time with them than perhaps you would have normally expected, and it's bearing fruit already.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, the winter was challenging from a COVID perspective, as we all accept, and the challenge of that. But actually, it was really good because it enabled the players that were at college, in work, and also at university to actually come in and train 3 times a week, which was really important for us and enabled us to work some really good time on task with some high-quality coaches.
Well, we're very excited to see what the Thunder will bring us. Of course, the Manchester Originals will be here playing in the 100 as well. Lots to look forward to. It's early on in the season, but already such great shoots from many things to grow. Paul, it's been great to have you. Thank you. We'll speak to you a little bit later on as well. And indeed, in a few minutes' time, we'll be welcoming out the teams for this Vitality Blast North Group game. The Lancashire Lightning against the Leicestershire Foxes. Stephen Croft is with us, and Stephen, that was an impressive win last night, not just because of the victory, but also the way that you managed that chase. How important was it, the guys that were sat in the dugout and the guys out in the middle, that you took on that challenge, which was a pretty stern challenge set by Derbyshire last night?
Yeah, I thought he put on a really good competitive total, and if I'm being honest, our preference is usually to bat first and defend with the spin options we've got, but it was great to get that win under the belt, chasing, which is, like I said, not our preference, and to do so relatively comfortable as well with quite a few wickets left, and great to see some lads get some runs on the board, especially Livy and the new signing Finn.
Yeah, because the top four, and we'll come to talk about this in just a moment, but the top four, if you think about the power that you have up there, all the way down to the middle order, which you're a part of course, sometimes the expectation from everybody watching, even if it's just 160, 170 odd, is that you're going to absolutely blister it at the beginning. But there is a sense, isn't there? You need to make sure that you are pacing yourselves correctly for the target you've been set. Yeah,
and we realise at Old Trafford as well, it does stick in now and then. It's probably one of the biggest surfaces we're going to play on as well. So, yeah, we'd all like to crash and bang and keep going all the way through the order, but we've got some smart heads as well. And, yeah, the main thing is to win every game within and use the best chance we can, really.
How pleased are you with getting a win under your belt? Because it's always important to start early. Appreciate that the competition is back at its normal length this time. It's not like last year, but Dane talks about it all the time, and I talk about him talking about it all the time, the momentum that you're able to build up in a group stage.
Yeah, it's massive really, and it seems to get you over those tight ones, and to get one early as well, it is good for us, having not played the format for a few months. So nice to get that first win under the belt, and like you said, carry that momentum all the way through the group. We don't want to be scratching for wins at the back end. We'd rather be comfortable at the start, and then in the past we have had that luxury at times, and you can get a few personnel in and out, which we might have to after I think 6 or 7 games when we lose a few faces. So yeah, it'd be nice to get hopefully a group wrapped up early. Yeah,
so Joss is here for the first 6 games, which means you come in 5 or 6 depending on the situation after a top 4, which is tasty, shall we say. How nice is it to come after that foundation?
It's brilliant really. Obviously everyone, all the batters really want to try and bat as high as possible in T20, but yeah, you obviously don't mind dropping down when you've got the likes of Joss and Livy and Finn as well coming in. They're great to have around. To see Joss in a Lancashire, all the lads have been hyped up, and it's great to have around, not just on the field but off it as well. Such a cool, calm head, and he obviously knows the game of T20 inside out.
Well, you get to watch it just like we do sometimes, which is nice, and then you have to go in and we have to watch you, which is also fairly pleasant. Stephen, go well today. We appreciate your time. Thank you very much indeed.
Cheers. Thank you.
Well, it's that time again. Time for a bit of rock and roll.
Wicket! Oh, have a look at that! Yeah, that's brilliant! What a catch! And boy, did they need that!
Well, this is punishing stuff from David Malan. He keeps going and going.
Oh, excellent catch! A delivery, that is an absolute beauty. That is magnificent. Got to be quick here. Yeah. Oh, brilliant, world class, David Willey. Oh, he's gone again. He's gone again, this time straight. Running round. Oh, that's incredible. What a catch. Huge wicket, that could be the game right there. He's got him, it's 7. Unbelievable. Oh no, would you believe it? It's the Notts Outlaws, 2020 champions, brilliant performance.
And we are back pitch side with Stephen Parry, who is alongside me and starting to regret the extra layer not being worn just at the moment as the clouds are hoping to part for a lovely evening here at Emirates Old Trafford. Stephen, tell us a little bit about Joss Buttler, because he'll be here again. He's here for the 6 games before he rejoins England. When you have a player like that in your team, you don't rely on them, but you must be, the insurance that they provide perhaps must be so kind of heartwarming and welcoming to see him in the dressing room.
Yeah, he's obviously a wonderful man, and he's a fantastic bloke. And I think most importantly, when you get to know him, he really cares about the team and really cares about the players around him and trying to help younger players. And I think, for me, is as good as to watch anybody in the world, so I'm happy to watch him back today, and that's why these people have come to watch as well, because he's box office. So.
And how does he deal with that pressure? Because clearly he knows that there are a lot of people who expect great things of him. He's learned to deal with that in the past, but how does he deal with it as a person? Because he knows that there is a lot of expectation on him.
Yeah, and Joss has always been one who deals with failure well, and when you're a professional sportsman, you fail a lot, but it's just when he does well, it's extremely good. So everyone's hoping he can obviously reconnect with that tonight, and I'm sure we will at some point in these 6 games. So.
And what's it like in amongst the dressing room, which of course is very much used to the players that are there, but in the T20, you get a sense of a different kind of person because the atmosphere is different. You've got the overseas players often coming in for just this tournament. So you have to manage that as a group, don't you? It's very difficult to go from success in one format straight into this and then garner the same success as the competition goes on. Yeah, well, if you look at Lancashire over the years in this competition, they've got a great win ratio. We're one of the strongest, or the strongest around us and Notts. And I think we've had a formula for years. And obviously the spin plays a big part in that. The big ground, running well, and you know they tick all the boxes in regards to getting good results at this ground. It's been the case, hasn't it, over the last few years that Lancs and Notts have been the trendsetters, and Worcestershire over the course of the last 2 or 3 years as well. When you face a team like Derbyshire last night and of course Leicestershire, where expectations aren't quite as high, how important is it the Lightning make sure that they don't consider what this team has done in the past and consider what they're going to offer today? Yeah, well, I think that's why people want to watch this competition, because there's no easy games, and you know, a game can change in 2 balls. The momentum can keep shifting, and you know, it gets people on the edge of their seats. There's plenty of talent around the country, you know, and look at the England team. There's loads of players that are knocking on the door, and people are evolving more and more in this game. Derbyshire got 168 batting first last night. Is that going to be something that the Lightning will hope to match, beat? It's a pitch that was used last night that's being used again today. How does that affect things? Yeah, they just know don't want to give too much away, but I've got an idea what they'll be thinking. But I think, yeah, they'll want to post a higher score as they can, and obviously the pitch hopefully will get slower, and the slower bowlers and the change of pace will come into it in the second half. But more importantly, they've got to get a reasonable score to start with. And they do enjoy batting first. Dane said it at the toss, and it's a pretty open secret. If Lancs are going to win the toss at Old Trafford, they're going to pretty much always bat first. Is it to do with the strength of the batting lineup, or is it simply the tactics to employ best on this pitch? Yeah, well, you know, it's a bit of both. The tactics is that we squeeze well as a team, and the spin come on, and you know, you've got someone like Matt Parkinson, who's a big wicket taker. You've got young Tom Hartley there, who controls it and bowls up front. So I just feel like, in regards to all-round package, that's one of the reasons why they're successful. And I am biased, obviously. You can tell the way I'm speaking, but I really hope they get a win tonight. And if they play it at a high percentage of what they can do, I'm sure they'll get that win. Well, we're looking forward to it as much as you are, Stephen. You can enjoy watching, just like you did if you were in the dressing room. If that top 4 fires, it'll be fascinating to watch. So much to enjoy as we look forward to this North Group game, and we will enjoy it in the company of the BBC's Scott Reed.
Thank you, Hugh. Yeah, welcome to the commentary box up here on level 3. Again, a beautiful view of Emirates Old Trafford as we welcome BBC Radio Leicester listeners as well to Manchester. Under floodlights, blue sky, not quite as bright and as sunny as yesterday afternoon, but as we can see, the Foxes in their green. Richard Ray from BBC Radio Leicester and Stephen Moore alongside us, the commentary team this evening. It's a green. Do you like Fox? I think I do, yeah.
I think we like it very much. Sort of racing green, I think is the actual
Sterling
appellation.
Moss type thing.
Absolutely, yeah. They arrived in Jaguars. No, they didn't really, but it's that sort of feel to it. But very popular with the members and supporters.
I like it. Yeah, big fan of that. Stephen, evening. You well?
Evening. Yes, very well. Looking forward to this.
And looking forward to, I guess, hopefully a really good competitive game of cricket. Lancashire are batting first, so I get a bit of pressure on the Foxes bowlers to limit what is an impressive top 4.
Yeah, that is, especially like you say, those top 4 there are pretty spicy for any side.
Terrifying is the word we're looking for.
So yeah, they have the work cut out for them, and I'm sure they've got something to prove as well. They know the pitch, they know what a good score
score is from last night. About 170 was about par. Might be a little less than that depending on how the wicket plays with the new ball. But I'm sure those top 4 are going to have an eye set on getting that and some.
Here come the umpires.
I suspect we'll see spin early, that's for sure. Callum Parkinson opened the bowling for the Foxes throughout the competition last season and did so very effectively, so I'd be a bit surprised if we didn't. Might be a bit of turn. Was there a bit of turn for Matt yesterday? Or
there was a bit.
Just a bit.
Yeah. It looked like some were gripping and some weren't. The expectation is for more turn today. The pitch is another day older with a little bit of sun on it this afternoon, so yeah, I think they're hoping it'll turn a bit more consistently.
So Aaron Lilly sprinting out to the middle. Always good to see some familiar faces, as we saw last night as well, with some former Lancashire players in the Derbyshire side. We've seen Finn Allen and Liam Livingstone again. Yesterday, Richard, the discussion was, of the top 4, who would slot into the top 2, because of Finn Allen, Liam Livingstone, Alex Davis and Josh Buttler. They all quite fancy batting first or second. These 2 opened last night. Livingstone paid off last night. Finn Allen looks like a very exciting signing as well, and we will be seeing a bit of Callum Parkinson by the looks of it to get the game up and running. Richard and I haven't tossed to see which end we're going to open up from ourselves, so I'll let you take your pick, being the away commentator. Do you fancy the James Anderson end or the Brian Statham end?
Do you have a preference?
I
don't mind, to be honest. Well, shall I take Callum then? To start with, and we'll see how it goes.
This is like the opening partnership with the ball or with the bat, isn't it? You'd walk out there. Which end do you want?
You go. No, you take it. I'll take the slow bowler. That sounds familiar. So Callum Parkinson from Scott says the Anderson end, and he's going to be bowling to Liam Livingstone. What a game he had yesterday to start the competition with both bat and ball. Just 2 out, remember, as Parkinson is in. Bowls short, cut away for 4. Chopped away off the back foot. Callum Parkinson starts with a little bit of a long hop, a little bit of a pie. It sat up nicely. Livingstone rocked back and hit it away well in front of square through the covers, and all Rishi Patel can do is turn and jog out after the ball. The 2 men out in this opening over, or at least at the start of this opening over, are at long on, and I'm usually out at mid-wicket. Well, they'll have to change that if Parkinson's going to bowl that. They might need a sweeper on the offside. Parkinson ready to go, but pulls out of his run just before he gets to the crease. Umpire O'Shaughnessy signals start again. Again it's short, again it's cut away for 4. Callum Parkinson has not started well. You'd fancy putting those away yourself, Stephen, well, really, to be honest.
Well, you couldn't have asked for anything better, Liam there, Livingstone. That's exactly where you want the bowler to bowl to when you've got your men back on the leg side, everybody up on the offside. He only has to hit it a yard or 2 left of any of those fielders and he gets 4. So, 2 very nice balls to start the over.
From the batsman's point of view, in goes Parkinson again, and that's a better length than Livingstone, having picked up his 4s, can just lean forward, push it out into the covers, and there is no run. General feeling, talking to people around about Lancashire as Parkinson is in. Bowls again, down the wicket goes Livingstone and over the top through the offside. I don't think he got all of that, might just have straightened a fraction, but he got plenty of it, and obviously with everybody up inside the ring on the offside, cleared the offside fielders by a margin, runs away towards backward point for 4 more.
Yeah, it looked like it just sliced off the face of the bat there. He was aiming over mid-off, but it got it over wide cover region, but he's definitely going to try and take advantage of these first 6.
Parkinson is in, bowls, and that's a straighter delivery. Fuller as well, waiting for it in the crease. Livingstone clips it firmly out through the vacant mid-on area, who's down on the long on boundary, and it is just a single on that occasion. Still 13 off the first 5 balls, not a bad start as far as Lancashire are concerned, and it brings Finn Allen down to the striker's end. This is going to be interesting. He's got a strike rate of about 200, hasn't he? Well, you laugh. Well, it is about that, isn't it? It's right up there. It's one of the highest in the world in white ball cricket. What's he about? In goes Parkinson and bowls to him. Similar sort of delivery to Livingston. He waits for it deep in the crease. The New Zealand clips it out towards mid-wicket. In comes Davis. And the single is taken. A pretty decent start for Lancashire. From the first over, they are 14 without loss.
He's played 3 T20 internationals for New Zealand, Finn Allen, a strike rate of 220, and of his 17 T20 games across his career, a strike rate of just under 190.
That's decent hitting.
Steady, isn't it? You'd be happy with that one?
Yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah. You could retire on that, couldn't you?
Yeah, well, I mean, that is definitely something Lancashire will be aware of in these first 6 was, you know, the scoring, the rate was much easier at the front of this innings as that ball was hard. As it got softer, you know, it got a little bit more uneven, so they're not going to want to rest in their laurels. They definitely will go hard at these Leicestershire bowlers in these first 6 overs.
Spin from both ends as well. Colin Ackerman from the stay the men, and shuffling back into his crease goes Finn Allen, and that's pushed into the offside. There's no run. There's a healthy ring of Fox's fielders on that offside at backward point, cover, extra cover, mid-off, mid-on, mid-wicket, short fine leg. Finn goes back, tries to muscle it into the onside, but the ball runs down to Will Davis at mid-on, and there is no run.
Sort of new kit for Lancashire as well. Bit new design anyway.
Coming in, just drops a bit short, and that'll be 4. And muscled off the back foot to the right of mid-on. And leaped from Will Davis inside the circle at mid-on, but he wasn't going to stop that. And that rattles its way towards the boundary rope for 4 more, 18 without loss.
Yeah, Allen just hanging back in the crease there, watching Ackerman try and bowl with a bit of pace, try and tighten them up, but he was quick on his feet there and managed to pull that wide of mid-on.
Ackerman halfway into his first over bowls. Allen goes back again, but this time it's picked up at mid-on. There's no run. It's a good spot, Richard. It is a new Lancashire top, is that? Yeah.
Sort of a bit of work on the front.
There is.
Seems to be.
A bit of extra
design.
Colour. Yeah, it is. Yeah. And Ackerman in, and this is Allen down on one knee, just trying to pull the ball, but straight to deep backward square leg, or short fine leg really, just for a single. Allen moves to 6. Score moves on to 19 without loss.
Leicestershire spinners favouring the half tracker at the moment. Getting away with it there, Ackerman.
Yeah. Definitely trying to spear it in there and give the Lancashire batsmen no room with their arms to get underneath the ball.
Ackerman comes over the wicket and bowls, and Livingston up onto his toes. It'll flick into the onside for a single. Keeps the strike as well. So 2 overs into the Lancashire Lightning innings. 20 without loss. Livingston 14. Finn Allen on 6.
And this is where it'll get interesting. Bowling to the 2 right-handers. Short boundary on the leg side. It was this over that Gleeson got taken apart in the first few overs yesterday afternoon. It'll be a tough one to bowl to, that's for sure.
He won't be familiar to Liam Livingston, though, presumably. Never know how, you never know. I'm sure they've studied videos and what have you, but it's a curious action, as you'll see.
Nowadays, it's everyone's got so much video around to be able to analyse, and the analysts, will have done their job, I'm sure. But you're right, until you've actually faced someone, especially if they've got a curious action, who knows? He might watch a few. I don't know with Liam. I'm not going to guarantee it.
Seaball hit it. He's waiting. He's got the long on and the deep mid-wicket. In comes the young Afghan. Longish run and bowls, and slightly sort of almost out of the back of his hand, it appears, from the action. But it's a good delivery, line and length. And Livingston looked a little nonplussed by that one. Just pushed it back down the pitch, had a look at it, and he says, "Oh, look, it came out the back of the hand."
Went to go and have a chat to Finn and said, "Did you see that?"
Yeah. And then he turned to the pavilion and made the gesture as well, didn't he? Liam Livingston. As I was saying to Scott in the build-up, he claims to have 7 varieties of slower ball. But anyway, we'll see. In he goes and bowls, and it did look a little bit slow. It came off the inside edge, doesn't miss the stumps by too much. It's going back towards fine leg. Good work down there by Parkinson. Relay work. Inglis had followed Parkinson back from wicketkeeper all the way to complete the relay work, but very nearly sneaked onto leg stump there.
Yeah, that did Livingston for pace. That lack of a little bit of rhythm you could see on his batting. He's having a chat again with his batting partner Finalen there. Definitely, like you say, his action is just messing with Liam Livingston's triggers at the moment.
And he's landing it in more or less the right spot as well, which is always good. But there's variation number 1 anyway. Slower ball number 1. See if we can pick any of the others. Well, not before he's bowled them, obviously. I certainly couldn't. Stephen maybe can. In goes Naveen. It's angled in towards middle and leg. Worked by Livingston out towards deep mid-wicket. Long on comes chasing in. I think it's Aaron Lilly down there. Gets his throw away, but Livingston picks up a couple comfortably enough.
I mean, how many variations of a slow ball does one bowler need?
It's good to have a couple, I suppose, just to have doubt in the batsman's mind. I suppose if you just got one in the end, then you pick
the quality of the slow ball is more important. Yeah. One good one, 7 bad ones makes a difference.
Impressed so far. Just 4 from the first 3 balls of the over, and 1 of those 2's a little bit lucky. In he comes and bowls. Down the wicket goes Livingston. He's seen enough. Hits it hard and flat and straight for 6. Never got more than about 18, maybe 20 feet off the ground, but he'd advanced down the wicket. Naveen didn't seem to see him coming because he landed in on a length still, and Livingston just smashed it back over his head for 6.
Yeah, and that was a challenge. You know, if you give them any room, that ball was in the channel outside off stump, which meant Livingston, no matter what he bowled, could get his arms through it. And when you've got hands as fast as he has, slower ball or quicker ball doesn't really matter.
24 off 10 for Liam Livingston. Was it 96 off 58 also yesterday? So he's even outpacing his efforts of yesterday. In goes Naveen and bowls the slow ball, waits for it. Livingston leans forward and works it away through mid-wicket down towards the fielder on the mid-wicket boundary, who's Davis, single taken. 31 without loss, Lancashire, after 2.5 overs.
7 one-day internationals for Naveen and 8 T20 internationals. So start of his international career.
Yeah.
Good cricketers come out of Afghanistan. I remember playing for the MCC in the championship final, sort of, you know, the warm-up in Abu Dhabi. And there were several of them out there warming up with us, and there were some very... Nabi was one of them. He's obviously gone on and played some really good cricket, but yeah, great.
Including for Leicestershire. And including on this ground, actually, 3 years ago. In goes Naveen, and bowls outside off stump, hit away into the covers, but a good diving stop out there by Lewis Hill to his left. Stops it on the 3rd, bounced on the edge of the circle. End of the over, 31 without loss after 3. Lancashire 11 from it in the end with that 6. So a very good start for Lancashire already.
Just on the details of that international career for him, 7 one-day internationals, 14 wickets, averaging 25, strike rate of 26 in ODI cricket, and T20 cricket, 13 wickets. That's an average of 15, strike rate of 12 from his start of his T20 and one-day international career for Afghanistan.
He has his own personal fan club. Mo Nabi used to sort of travel with about 10 colourfully dressed Afghans who used to support him loudly, brilliantly actually. It was a lot of fun, but they're restricted on the number of tickets they can have at the moment, the players, which Naveen was struggling with a little bit. They're only allowed 2 each in terms, so he's under a lot of pressure in terms of, he said, supplying tickets.
He's a popular man then.
Restricted entourage, who would have thought?
We're going to see Gavin Griffiths from the Brian Statham end. Little shuffle at the start of his mark, and here he comes. He's got Livingston on strike on 25, 31 without loss after 3. Livingston with a little nibble behind. He's gone. Breakthrough for the Foxes is a crucial one. Up goes the finger of umpire Ian Blackwell, and Livingston has to make his way back. An unbeaten 94 yesterday. He is out in the 4th over today, and Gavin Griffiths, the man out. Little nibble behind to the keeper. Griffiths peels away in celebration. Livingston departs for 25, and Lancashire 31 for 1 in the 4th.
Yeah, he'll be disappointed with that, Liam. He came down really early. Gavin saw him. hit it into the wicket. Tied him up, and he didn't really play any shot at it. He kind of half left his bat dangling there, and just obviously got a little faint edge on the inside edge, carried through to the keeper, but it was a shot to nothing really. He should have just left it, and he'll be disappointed. Obviously in good nick, and he's probably thinking, I've wasted some runs there tonight and left them out on the pitch.
But a big wicket for the Foxes.
Yeah,
having been 94 not out yesterday, to get him for 25 in the fourth.
Yeah,
take that.
But then you've got Davies and Butler to come, so I'm sure they're happy to see the back of Liam, but they'll be right back on it, I'm sure, here, and hoping to get a couple more quick ones as soon as they can.
Well, Griffiths obviously will be very familiar to Lancashire listeners and watchers. He's just lost his place in the red ball side, but as the competition, the T20 competition went on last season, he got better and better and better in it, and very nearly bowled us into finals day. Very much his forte at the moment.
31 for 1 in the fourth. Here he is, gliding back in over the wicket and bowling just back of a length. Cut. Oh, brilliant catch!
Great catch.
Outstanding catch at extra cover, I think by Naveen.
Naveen, yeah,
it is.
To his right-hand side. That's a superb bit of fielding. It's 2 in 2 for Griffiths. He's on a hat-trick. Davies cutting it at pace. And that's a wonderful diving catch. Look at that. Picks himself up as if to say, well, I can do that every day of the week, no problem. 31 for 2 in the fourth.
Oh, that's great to see one of your bowlers diving full length to their right. It was a lovely height to do that, but it was a wonderful catch, and you can see all the fielders around him running from all areas of the ground to give him a pat on the back for that. Unfortunately, Alex, another cheap one. But it brings Josh Butler into the middle now.
He hit it clean, that's for sure. I was looking to the boundary, and suddenly Naveen came swooping out of the air like an Afghan eagle.
He'll be pleased with that, I'm sure. His entourage, his fan club, will be cheering.
They will. His social media will rapidly increase.
He'll be speaking to those cameramen behind him, just asking them to send him a picture.
You get that?
Yeah. I'll have it framed, please, if you don't mind. That'd be great.
Griffiths on a hat-trick.
Blimey. Go on then, Richard.
He's only bowled 2 balls in the competition so far. Wickets with both of them, Gavin Griffiths. But he's got this knack of making things happen, Griffiths. Sometimes it's a good knack, sometimes it goes all over the place. But can he start the T20 blast with a hat-trick? He's going, especially with bowling to Josh Butler, and England international. In goes Griffiths, bowls to Butler, who defends a ball coming back into him. So not this time for Gavin Griffiths.
Treated that hat-trick ball with respect there, didn't he, Joss?
Have a little bit of a look when you lose 2 in 2 early.
Not very often. I would have thought Joss would be looking behind him and seeing a slip in place in a 2020 game. There is one this evening. That is something.
Yeah, Ackerman has gone in there.
Yeah, just a third man and a slip, but why not? 2 wickets and 2 balls. Great for Gavin Griffiths. Back here at Emirates Old Trafford. Of course, he's played against Lancashire quite a few times now since moving. But great to pick up a couple of wickets against your former side. With a little bit of something behind the bowler's arm is distracting Josh Butler. 31 for 2, halfway into the fourth. There is Gavin Griffiths in the bowling fullish length on off stump. Butler defends quite neatly back down the pitch, and there's no run. Wicket, wicket, dot, dot to start the over.
Did he not bowl a very famous, was it a wicket maiden, or was it just a maiden in the semi-final for Lancashire?
Was a wicket maiden
on his debut.
He did. Butler in the team for Lancashire as well. Yeah, Lancashire went on to win the competition that year, 2015. He's into Butler. Has he edged it? No, playing a miss from Butler. Great take from the keeper.
That was a great delivery. Speared in, yorked him. Butler really wasn't expecting. He was very late to get his bat down. Thought he'd bowled him.
Final ball of the over. The dot makes it a double wicket maiden for Gavin Griffiths. In from the stay the men for the Foxes. Bowls and just nip back in. It deflects down towards short third man. The umpire is up to signal a leg by, so Butler remains on naught. Wonderful over for Gavin Griffiths.
Double wicket maiden.
Double wicket maiden. Who would have thought that?
32 for 2, 4 overs gone.
This vaunted top order batting lineup here from Lancashire, and Gavin Griffiths just put them in their place.
The crowd not sure how to react really, because he's one of your own, isn't he, in a way? And he's like, oh, all right. At least it's come from a Lancastrian. Ormskirk, I think he's from, up on the coast somewhere, isn't it?
I think he is from Ormskirk, yeah.
So not so far away. Mrs. Griffiths usually listening. She might well be here, actually.
Could be in the hotel.
Enjoying Gavin's success. Naveen is going to continue from the Anderson end, the James Anderson. Do we have to use his full name as well?
Is he not
generally considered the right thing
so,
to do?
Yeah, I think
right.
Full name.
Jimmy. The Jimmy end.
A little shuffle at the start of his run for Naveen, and he comes in and bowls full, driven out into the offside, and that's going to go all the way. Nice shot from Josh Butler, just waited for it, didn't try and overhit it, made sure he got it into the gap, and it's a lightning outfield here at Old Trafford at the moment. Very hard with all the good weather that we've been having and all Lewis Hill can do. And the ropes are back quite a long way, aren't they? They've made the ground big today.
It's a big playing area, isn't it? It is. A lot of 2s and 3s are on.
It's a tactic that Lancashire use a lot, you know, play to the maximum size ground. It takes a few runs off the total score, but they train hard at running hard and putting the fielders under pressure.
Yeah, it's a long way back for Lewis Hill. He's back now. The edge of the circle, of course, as Naveen is in and bowling. Again, he's driven, and again he's driven for 4. Ackerman can't get across from mid-off. It was a little bit in the slot, just leant forward Butler and played a fairly conventional off-drive. Didn't try and overhit it, made sure he got it past Ackerman, and the ball fairly raced away.
Yeah, just a little bit too much width here. He's just letting Joss free his hands outside the off stump there, and he's just leaning on it really, and like you say, with a fast outfield, it's just racing away and the fielders are just shepherding it, and it's prompted a change in the field now.
Going to have some cover on the offside if he's going to keep bowling there, and indeed Lewis Hill is going back from cover on the edge of the circle to sweep on the offside. Gavin Griffiths has to come up from third man to short third man. Still got deep square out, just backward of square as Naveen is in to Butler. Slower ball, hit in the air, reaching for it just a touch, but big gap where Lewis Hill was, and Hill comes in off the boundary and fields, and it is just a single. And again, Butler signals came out in the back of the hand, just to warn his partner.
Yeah, well, you can watch it all you want on TV, and they will have analysed the slower balls, but until you face it, you know, you will do. You'll talk to your batting partner and say, look, this is what I saw him do. Just be aware. You'll be trying to pick up little ticks in his action if you can.
He's holding the ball down the seam. It's not a scrambled seam, or this delivery isn't at the moment. Having said that, it's all covered up as he runs in and bowls to Allen. A slower ball again, and Allen is hitting through the ball too early. Having said that, he's muscled it away towards deep mid-wicket, deep square. Davis has to run around the boundary a good 15 or maybe even 20 yards, and by the time he gets his throw away, not the greatest of throws for Inglis to take. Even so, Allen has picked up a couple, but he did rather cloth it.
Yeah, he was early through that. He hadn't picked up the pace of the ball there, but he kept his balance, steady base there, and he did manage to shoo it out into the leg side. But he's not quite picking up the slower ball at the moment, Alan. He's got a lot of intent with his batting. He's not going to die wanting here with 2 men now back on the leg side. Being keen to see what he does.
He's quite a tall man, the young New Zealander. Angular, almost. He leans down now, looks around him. The man on the offside has come back in as Naveen is in and bowls. It is coming back in just from outside off stump a little bit. There's good pace in this pitch. It's forced out off the back foot into the offside, but backward of square, and Rishi Patel can make the stop. No run on that occasion.
And you can see that, you know, slower ball before that one was the quicker one, and it just rushed Allen. You know, he's just not picking up the cues from the bowler. So good bowling, mixing his pace here, keeping the Lancashire batsman guessing.
Looks like an interesting signing already. Going to be plenty to talk about as the season goes on. In he goes and bowls again a slower ball, but he picked that one all right. Just smacked it back over his head, waited for it. The line and length were wrong. It might have been slower, but it was still there to be hit. And hit it was, straight back over mid-off, down to the long off boundary in front of the pavilion. 4 from the last ball, so 47 for 2 after 5. After 5? Yeah.
Yep.
So 16 off the over.
Yeah, and that's
2 fours off the first 2 balls, wasn't it?
Yeah, it does. Yeah. And that just shows there, you know, with the slower ball there, if you get your line wrong, it doesn't matter whether you're bowling, you know, fast balls, slower balls against top order batsmen, they'll punish you. So, you know, good change up, but just like you say, the line and the length just weren't right, and gave Allen the chance to get his hand through it.
Well, Naveen is in the game, isn't he? He's bowled a couple, he's been smacked a little bit, he's taken an absolute worldie of a catch. he's in the match.
He is, he's definitely feeling it, that's for sure.
27 off 2, yeah.
And he'll be relishing this, you know, playing against, you know, these kind of players at the top of the order in a stadium like this. You know, it's great for him, it's great for his own development, and it's great for the competition to have, you know, these international guys coming over with these skills.
Gavin Griffiths making his 100th career appearance tonight, and what a way to start with that double wicket made. And he's in again, bowling. It's a wonderful take by the keeper, but the umpire spins round and signals a wide as Griffiths speared it in down the leg side to Jos Buttler. The score moves on to 48 for 2.
I see a Leicester City flag over on in front of the hotel. It's got the FA Cup marked on it. Did you know they won the FA Cup?
Oh yes, it's just draped over the advertising board. And there's Griffiths in and bowling, and that's up and over mid-off, just enough I think to clear Colin Ackerman. It is from Jos Buttler down towards the boundary, time well enough perhaps even for 4. No, scooped up nicely. Good work by Ackerman, who for a split second may have thought he was in the game for a catch, but it went over his head. Did well to catch up with the ball and to save a couple of runs. It does bring up the 50 for Lancashire, 51 for 2 in the 6 over. Allen on 12 and Jos Buttler on 12. Griffiths from the Brian Stay the Men. Squad number 93. Breathing in a little bit of extra air. His adrenaline will be pumping after that first over. Yeah, former Lancashire man. There's a short fine leg. There's a deep square leg and a deep mid-wicket. Short third, backward point, cover, extra cover, mid-off and a mid-on. Swing and a miss from Finn Allen. Actually ran 3, so Allen's on strike. That previous ball through to the keeper, no run. We saw him briefly, didn't we, last night, Finn Allen? He certainly hits a very clean ball. He hits it pretty hard, doesn't he?
Yeah, he gives himself a lovely base to swing his bat through, so you know, no surprise he's got a fantastic strike rate. But I'm not sure that's the shot he wants to be playing on this ground, the last one.
12 not out from 11 balls faced. Allen. Griffiths and balls, thick bottom edge, could have clattered back onto the stumps as he looks at the toe end of his bat there. Ball picked up by the fielder. Short, fine leg, and there's no run. Well, he's been a little bit kind of stand and deliver, hasn't he, so far, in the very early stages of his time with Lancashire Lightning.
Got a lot of intent. He's just obviously struggling a little bit with the pace of the pitch. They did say last night that it was a little bit too paced, and Griffiths is really testing him here. He hasn't got his timing at all, Allen, against him.
Griffiths in past the umpire, over the wicket and bowls, up onto his toe, just snaps it back down the pitch. And there's a dot ball for Gavin Griffiths, 51 for 2. And good start from Griffiths. Terrific start, dismissing Liam Livingston and Finn Allen in successive deliveries. Absolute worldie of a catch from Naveen to see the back of Alex Davis. 2 balls left of the 6. This is the final over of the power play. Griffiths moves in again. Ball's full of length. Oh, it's come off a thick edge down towards third man. Photographer diving out the way behind the advertising board as the ball came hurtling in his direction. full of length on off stump, and he kind of scooped it off a thick bottom edge down towards third man for 4.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that ball from Griffiths. That was a perfect delivery right in the block hole, middle and leg stump. Allen backing away, trying to do anything to give himself some room and give himself a chance of getting a boundary. And to be honest, we're just lucky he got a thick enough edge to take it past the off stump and beat the keeper and short third man. So that's a moral victory for the bowler.
Final ball of his second over. Into Allen, against full of length, speared in, clipped away off his toes. To deep backwards square leg, ball scooped up. They come back for a second. And that completes the power play then. 6 overs gone, 57 for 2. Live from Emirates Old Trafford, with spectators back in watching the game on a pretty pleasant evening. It's not too chilly, plenty of short sleeves. 2 new Lancashire shirts being worn by the spectators as well. But yeah, quite a pleasant evening. We'll take this. Nice mild conditions, and hopefully the numbers will grow as the weeks and months progress as well. 57 for 2, 6 gone, Butler 12, Allen on 18.
Taking that, probably. I would anticipate Lancashire would have preferred to lose only 1 wicket, obviously, or none, preferably, but 1. But to lose 2 just about keeps Leicestershire involved. Will Davis is going to take up the bowling from the James Anderson end. Couple more men back, bowls outside off stump and wide, and it's cut away, but he does have cover out there in the shape of Lewis Hill. Has a lot of ground to make up to the ball, though a comfortable 2. Not a great start. Only Griffiths of the Leicestershire bowlers has really hit his straps from the very start. And Davis a little bit too wide on that occasion. He's got a long on, he's got a deep mid-wicket, he's got a deep backward square, he's got a long off, and he's got the sweeper hill on the off side. In he comes, Will Davis, and bowls the slower ball. It floats down almost. I think it reached the batsman on the full. Butler, who waits for the call, but the call comes from Allen. It was comfortable enough in the end. He played it out towards deep mid-wicket and picks up another couple.
Yeah, it's going to be a big feature of this evening with this big boundary here. Something Lancashire do really well as they push for 2s, get the odd 3. The fielders are going to have to really be concentrating on getting their positions right in the deep in the field here. It can be the difference between winning and losing. You can steal an extra 10 runs in the field if you're hot on it, or you can save them if you've got your fielding spot on.
Davis is in and bowling a good slower ball, just waited for it and tried to dab it away, presumably down to third man Griffiths being up on the edge of the circle, but it was too slow almost, and Butler failed to get anything on it. Could easily have just flicked that into the gloves of Josh Inglis. Having said that, I think it bounced again before it got through to Inglis, who does take a couple of steps closer. Solid figure, the Australian. In goes Davis again, and that is a slower ball, full toss. So it's worked away, but only as far as deep mid-wicket. Got away with that one, didn't get that right at all. Will Davis, as I say, lucky just to concede the single.
Leicester should take some heart from these first 6 overs here. Neither Butler or Allen are really striking it. 17 off 12 for Butler and 18 off 15 for Allen. So other than Liam Livingstone, the Lancashire score not really ticking along yet, so they could really try and squeeze you, Leicester.
Davis just searching for his line and length at the moment, is in, bowls horribly short, bangs it in, pulled away to deep mid-wicket, but again it is going to be just 1. It travels quickly out to Ben Mike, who's out there. He runs away to his left, gets his throw away quickly, and again Davis rather gets away with it, just loses a single on that occasion. Just 6 from his first 5 balls. An extra bit of cover on the boundary, proving very useful for Will Davis at the moment. And he comes to finish his over, bowls to Butler. It's in the air, but timed beautifully over the top of Ackerman at extra cover, and it races away to the extra cover boundary. No chance for long off to get across there. It was a little bit line and length from Davis, and it wasn't the slower ball. Butler not afraid to go aerial, timed it quite beautifully. 67 for 2 after 7.
And that is something that you notice. You know, you talk about the hitters who are international hitters and the hitters who are county hitters, and I never really understood that until you started playing with some of these guys and you start looking at it a bit more. But you know, people like Joss and those who are playing at the international, the pace at which the ball comes off their bat, you know, a shot like that, you just think it's just a chip shot really, but you know, in comparison to most batsmen, it's traveling at 20-30 miles an hour faster off the bat, and it just races away with ease.
Back to Colin Ackerman, but a spin again from the state of the men, drops short once more. Allen rocks back and pulls up towards a deep square leg for a single, moves on to 20. 68 for 2 to bring Butler on strike. The phrase kind of fast hands, and is that what kind of in terms of the clean hitting the ball and hitting the ball hard?
It's just hard to explain.
Coming in to Butler, a little bit flatter, touch quicker, just squelch it down towards short third man, where there's a bit of a fumble from Gavin Griffiths. And Butler's got a single for that. Moves to 22 not out, 69 for 2.
They've got their striking so honed that it's the speed of the hands, but it's also the quality of the bat face striking the ball that just accelerates that ball faster than most.
Ackerman for the Foxes comes over the wicket and bowls. And Allen again, a little nudge away off the pads through mid-wicket. Aaron Lilly, the bearded Alan Lilly. Good to see he's still got the sculptured beard, Mr. Lilly.
Yep. Yeah, he had it when he came, and it hasn't lost it.
No, why not? Allen moves to 21. 70 for 2. Ackerman bowling to Butler. Just pushes him back, he defends. Ball bounces down just outside the off stump, picked up by the keeper.
It is looking like a 170, 180 wicket, isn't it? Is that fair to say, you think?
That's what Lancashire will be thinking, definitely.
Coming in to Butler, up and over, extra cover, but straight to long off, and Butler departs for 22, and Ben Mike with the catch for the Foxes on the long off boundary. Butler out, and the Foxes have got rid of Livingston, got rid of Davis, and now the big one, Joss Butler, caught, and Lancashire lose their third, 70 for 3.
He'll be disappointed, Joss. That's not a great shot, you know, with long off back there. He didn't really commit. You don't often see that from Joss, but he didn't really commit to it. It looked like he was thinking of trying to hit it over extra cover, but he almost got in two minds and ended up just chipping a gift of a catch down to mid-off. And he'll be sitting in the change room kicking himself for that. Another really, really important wicket for Leicestershire, and they'll be feeling pretty positive about things right now. In comes the captain, and you know, he'll have to play a captain's knock here. They'll know, Lancashire, that they want to get up to the 170, which is probably par, but starting this game they would have had an expectation to try and get to 180 to prove to themselves as a batting lineup that they can score above par.
But it's the same pitch that was used last night. Derbyshire made 186 on this pitch. As Ackerman's in to Villas, going back, trying to work it down towards short third man. No run, end of the 8th, terrific over. I think just 3 off it, and the wicket. 70 for 3. Allen 21, Davis on Villas on 0, but Butler, the absolutely key wicket for the Foxes, caught by Mike for 22. Yeah, Derbyshire made 168 for 7 from 20, and Lancashire chased that down with 6 wickets remaining. 3 balls left of their innings, and it's the same pitch being used again this evening.
It looks a pretty good one. Ackerman hasn't been in brilliant form with the ball, but he just started to bowl himself into some sort of form in the county championship. Picked up 6 wickets in the win over Gloucestershire last week. 3 in each innings on a turning pitch, that said, but that would have done his confidence a little bit of good because he only picked up 1 before then. And Callum Parkinson, who picked up 10 wickets in that match, 5 in each innings. His best first-class career return is back on at the James Anderson end, goes in and bowls, pushes it through a little bit, understandably perhaps at Allen, who pushes it back out into the offside. He's a little bit hurried as he does so, the New Zealander. 21 off 19 for him, waiting for the explosion really. In goes Parkinson, bowls, gives it a little bit more air, and he does swing, but along the ground out towards long on. Doesn't look to be too much turn in the pitch for Parkinson at the moment.
At that speed, he's going to struggle to turn it, isn't he?
Yeah.
Although Murley used to bowl quick, and he used to figure out a way of turning it. But then again, he did have just crazy wrists, didn't he?
He did. Parkinson waits for Villas to take guard. He's ready now. Parkinson is in. Lancashire captain advances down the pitch to meet the ball, turns it away, out off a fairly straight delivery out towards deep square. In chases Ben Mike, gets his throw away quickly, makes sure it is just the single for Villas.
He's playing against Murley here at Old Trafford once, and I was absolutely shocked at how fast he bowled and how much spin he still got. It's extraordinary.
Parkinson is in and bowls, makes a bit of space there, Allen, and slashes it rather out into the offside. It is Aaron Lilly who gets there, but he's going to give away it. He isn't really going to give away. There's a few teapots out there because he threw to the bowler's end. Parkinson didn't take the ball, and with nobody really backing up other than out on the boundary, despite the fact he'd overrun the crease, Villas and Allen were able to make 1 into 2. Not good from Leicestershire. 75 for 3. Parkinson is in again. Little paddle sweep around the corner. Umpire Blackwell shapes as though to take the catch. He'd have struggled bending down to it these days, I think. Bless him. He's quite spherical these days. He was never svelte in his playing days, was he? Bless him. But,
no, he wasn't.
But he was a little bit more... shall we say lissom than he is now. In goes Parkinson and bowls, again making room, backing away. Allen slashing it out into the offside. Long run around for Hill, who bounces as he throws the ball in off his feet, but it's still going to be 2 for Allen. He moves on to 27 off 22. Villas just the 2 off the 3 balls faced. Lancashire 78 for 3 off 9. Innings nicely balanced at the moment.
Nicely balanced, and that was actually a pretty good over again from Parkinson, but it just shows that, you know, 3, a couple of 2s, and suddenly, you know, it looks like a pretty decent over for Lancashire. But in terms of, you know, the quality of the bowling, you know, he really didn't give Lancashire much to play with there. So, you know, the running is key. Leicestershire, I'm sure, will be aware of that, and they're going to have to run hard when they get a chance to bat.
So Aaron Lilly, with that magnificent beard, is into the attack for the first time. I'm still convinced he looks like someone who would look magnificent in a kind of a hipster trendy bar, you know what I mean, with a check jacket on. Lilly in and bowling to Villas. Drives to extra cover for 4. Ball rattles its way into the advertising board, and the Lancashire captain is up and running with a boundary. He's first in this innings. He moves on to 6, 82 for 3.
A bit of a gift that tossed up outside off stump, half volley, and the captain Dane Villas wasn't going to miss out. And
Lilly back into Villas, who goes late and plays a little clever dab down to third man. Chases on from Gavin Griffiths, loses his cap, but scoops the ball up, throws it back in. And Villas comes back for 2, and he moves to 8, 84 for 3.
Talking about losing his cap, it's the first time this season I've seen Aaron Lilly without a cap on, and I'm beginning to understand why now. He's kind of given up the battle, hasn't he, really?
He's certainly decided to go short, hasn't he? Look at that. That's a neat-looking haircut, that, isn't it? Villas off the back foot, punching through mid-on for a single. Takes him to 9.
Big lights over here are really, you know, doing wonders on the top of Aaron Lilly's head there, isn't he? He's going. If I was a batsman, I might ask him to put his cap back on.
Bit of Blanco up there, Aaron, please.
It's a good job we like you, Aaron. He's a good type, isn't he?
Yes,
he is. And Lilly bounces his way back in, balls to Finn Allen, who's off the back foot, whipping the ball away through the onside out towards deep mid-wicket.
He actually finished top of the bowling averages, the red ball bowling averages. He only appeared in 1 game, but then he took 3 for 20 against Yorkshire, and that was it, pretty much.
Spins the ball from one hand to the other, skips his way back in again. He'll nudge away through Villas, by Villas through the onside, just for a single this time. Moves to 10 then, 87 for 3, 1 ball left of the 10, so almost at the halfway stage for Lancashire Lightning, who lost 3 of their top 4 His runs here, however, just backward of square on the offside. Finn Allen just trying to poke the ball away between kind of short third man and backward point. Well stopped in the end, I think, from Gavin Griffiths. That ball got past him. There would have been at least one extra run. In the end, just a single to end the over. 10 gone, halfway point. 88 for 3. Dane Velas on 10. Finn Allen, 29 not out from 24 balls faced. And we're going to see Callum Parkinson a return from the Anderson end, or at least continue rather, into his third over.
It was interesting there on that ball there. Aaron Lilly almost delivered it from next to the umpire. His front foot hardly made it past the stumps there. I'm not sure how far back you're allowed to bowl the ball from, but he was pushing it.
Parkinson is in and bowling, and its edge slashes at it, Allen. It's going to run away down to find third man. No chance at all for Patel, who was up on the edge of the circle at short third man. Well, he went at it hard and he got a good piece of it. No chance for Inglis, obviously standing up to the stumps to get to that one, and he picks up 4, but again, not out of the middle.
No, he's looked scratchy today, and he's got a lot of intent, but he really has struggled to find the middle of the bat. Most of his runs coming off the edge.
Parkinson is into him. A quicker ball played firmly out into the offside. A good piece of fielding diving to his right by Ackerman, and he gets his throw away right next to the stumps. Forces Allen, who'd advanced a few steps down the wicket, to quickly get back into his ground. Good work by Leicestershire's skipper. Parkinson is in and bowling on towards middle and leg this occasion. Waiting for it, Allen, then clipping it, rather than trying to smash it on this occasion, out towards long on. Will Davis is the fielder out there. Huge, wide, open areas on the leg side. Only Griffiths on the edge of the circle at on the 45, and that one is clipped in the air. I think it's going to be wide of Hill. It is, who doesn't actually get there, and it's going to run away for 4. He misjudged that one really badly, Lewis Hill. Again, he was sort of beaten in the flight a little bit, I think, there. Allen, he went through with the shot anyway. He reached out for it, lifted it high over wide extra cover, and Hill, who was thinking about the catch, ended up misjudging it completely. The ball bounced past him and ran away for 4.
Yeah, he ended up looking a little bit silly there, but it actually bounced quite much harder than he expected and rushed away from him.
Parkinson into Allen again, who is advancing, I beg your pardon, into Villas, who's down the pitch and working it away down towards mid-wicket on that occasion. 33 and 32, that's very inconsiderate of them. Apologies. Allen has 34 off 27. He is on strike now. As Parkinson is in, bowls to him, clipped away in the air towards mid-on, bounces through the vacant mid-on area down towards Davis at long on. The single is taken, ends the over. 99 for 3, so 11 from it. 10 or 11 do Lancashire just nicely over the next few overs per over.
Yeah, no, they'll be happy with that. You know, they will know that 170 is a defendable score on here. So yeah, they're well set where they are now. They won't be panicking, but Allen will be looking for a bit of rhythm. He didn't have a great amount of rhythm towards the back end of his inning yesterday. He hasn't had good rhythm today. He'll want to kick on now from the 35 that he's got of 28 balls and see if he can get himself a nice little 60 or 70 here and start to get some rhythm.
Colin Ackerman to start his third over, 1 for 9. He's a tidy 2-over spell so far from Ackerman, in and bowling the fullish ball to Allen, who squirts it down the ground. Will Davis at long on fields brings up the 3 figures for Lancashire Lightning, and taking some getting into the 12th over to get to 100. 100 for 3 though. Allen to 36. Villas back on strike, looking to sweep with a top edge over the keeper, and he'll just get, I think, 1 for it. He does. Villas to 16 now, 101 for 3. Give you a recap of the test score, by the way, at the end of this over, because it's the close of play on the first day of that second test match between England and New Zealand. This is swatted away without a great deal of timing from Finn Allen. Ball just squirts out towards deep square leg. Gets 1. Takes him to 37 from 30. It's been a really bitty innings, hasn't it? I mean, Lancashire really got going, but credit to the Foxes to Ackerman, one of the bowlers here who's bowling nicely. Reverse sweep from Villas, but he wants one. Sent back as Gavin Griffiths inside the circle picks the ball up. And Finn Allen says, back you go, skipper. There isn't a run there. Another dot ball, just 3 runs off the over so far. 102 for 3. Ackerman in and bowling, pushes it wide. Villas gets into it and drives, but too wide mid off for no run. Another dot ball, final ball of the over. Can you get out of the over? Just the 3 singles off it so far. Ackerman to Villas, sweeps out towards deep backward square leg, and he's caught by Hill. And Villas has gone for 16. And another wicket for Colin Ackerman, who's bowling a blinding little spell here for the Foxes. And Lancashire have lost their 4th, 102 for 4 after 12. And the skipper's gone, caught by Hill at deep backward square leg off the bowling of Colin Ackerman.
And another Lancashire batsman that is livid with himself. He's just creamed that sweep shot, and he couldn't have hit it any straighter to the fielder at deep backward square leg. He didn't have to move, straight into his mitts there. And the captain is, well, I would say trudging off, but he's storming off. And it's another good wicket for Leicester, but another Lancashire batsman have given their wicket away.
Just on that England game, England against New Zealand then, 2-5-8 for 7 is what England have closed on the opening day, with Dan Lawrence 67 not out and Mark Wood unbeaten on 16, a 20 from Ollie Stone. And great start by the opening 2. Burns made 81, Sibley 35, but then a clatter of wickets after lunch for England, including a first ball duck for James Bracey. So England closing on 258 for 7. Jimmy Anderson, by the way, having been named in this team, now becomes the most capped player in Test cricket for England.
That's extraordinary, isn't it, as a fast bowler?
It is. It is.
Will Davis is back at the Jimmy Anderson end. In he goes and bowls down the leg side, clips the pad, or hits the pad really, of Allen as he tries to work it away down towards deep backward square, and a leg by is taken. Ackerman showing Parkinson, who is the front line spinner, really he's prepared to give it a little bit more air, and he's 3 overs 2 for 12 for Ackerman. Whereas Parkinson, who's been firing it in.
But he is bowling to the big leg side boundary. I would be very brave to toss it up with that short leg side boundary. I'd be firing in it too if I was Parkinson.
It isn't working though. 3 overs for 33 for Parkinson as Davis is in, bowls outside off stump, played firmly off out into the offside, but a good diving stop by the aforesaid Ackerman keeps Croft down on the striker's end, at the striker's end.
I don't think Parkinson's bowled that badly. I think it comes down to that running between the wicket, that with that space out and that big boundary there, you can pick up 2s and 3s and you can turn what you wouldn't think would be an average over into a good over.
Davis bustles in and bowls, and again Ackerman is diving to his right. This time he can't get there. Good shot from Croft. Hill, I think, he's going to win the chase. No, he isn't going to win the chase. I think, is it Ben Mike who's out there? I think it is. They've been swapping around out there at deep extra cover. Had to run all the way around, almost to long off. A big sprint around from Mike, gets his throwaway, but 3 taken by Croft to get him off the mark. 106 for 4, 12.5 overs gone. Looks around him, Allen, 37 off 31. Boundary riders all in front of him at the moment, pretty much, as in goes Davis and bowls to him. It is short on the leg side again. Davis a little bit gets away with one there, because all Allen can do is pull it around the corner. Doesn't get all of it, comes off a bit of a bottom edge, and it runs fairly comfortably towards Parkinson, who's at short fine leg.
Can't really tell whether it's the wicket or whether it's the batsman, but you know, that's part of being an experienced batsman out there. You might be having to revise this and say this wicket is being a bit more two-paced, in which case 150 might be a good score.
Davis in again to Allen. Again it's short, again it's pulled in the air, but this time I think for just short of the mid-wicket boundary, and it is signalled for probably only about a foot short. Allen really did get that one. It was maybe the slower ball, but it was too short and pulled away. Scott Steele out there signalled 4 rather than 6.
Yeah, that just set up for Alan. Finally got one where he could actually find the middle of the bat.
Moves on to 41. Waits with bat raised as in goes Davis and bowls to him much fuller this time. Waits for it and guides it away from outside off stump. Ben Mipe puts in the dive and the slide and the stop and manages to save a couple of runs. He seemed to be almost running out of steam there, Mike, as he was running towards it. Put in the dive and just managed to stop the ball. Good work by him. 112 for 4, though, at the end of the over. 10 again from it.
Finding the middle of the bat has been tricky tonight, hasn't it?
I think Alan will be walking into the change room and spending a bit of time with the sandpaper on the edges of his bat, trying to smooth the dents out. He's really struggled to find the middle today, and I don't know whether that's just him trying to find his rhythm, or whether this wicket has just maybe got a little bit more too-paced. Time will tell.
43 from 30 balls for Finn Allen. Now Aaron Lilly will start his second over. First went for 10. He's got Stephen Croft on strike. These are good mates that have played alongside each other for many years. And he beats Croft first up. And he's got a little cheeky smile on his face as well. And as a result of that, they'd have enjoyed that first ball to Croft. Throws it wide again. Cuts the ball away through the offside, just behind square. Naveen picks the ball up. Croft jogs back for 2. Takes his total to 5, 114 for 4. We'd be hard-pressed to find a more experienced T20 cricketer, certainly in the domestic game, but actually, in terms of games played, anywhere in kind of world T20. He goes on the reverse this time, Croft, and gets it right out the middle of the bat on this occasion, and gets 4 for it. Stephen Croft, 118 for 4.
That was a good shot, although he wasn't really looking at it almost when he hit it, but he creamed it, Crofty. He got it right out the middle of the bat, and big open space, and prompted a change in the field now from Aaron Lilly. Put a man pretty much exactly there.
Lilly comes in to Croft, works the ball, a little nibble away through the onside. He goes steaming through for the first and comes back for the second. Stephen Croft into double figures with that.
And that's typical Lancashire, that, got the man moved from the leg side, nudge it into that big field, taken 2, and that's where you have to be on it as a fielder. If once that gap opens up, you can't let them get 2 there.
I'll bring you some Stephen Croft T20 stats in a minute, as he works his ball down towards short third man, but for no run. There's 1 ball left of the over, 120 for 4. Croft on 11. He's faced 7 balls so far. Again, just a little shuffle back into his crease, works it across his pads. Oh, and he tumbles over. And he loses his balance as he turns to come back for a second or thinks about it. And Aaron Lilly picks him up and says, "Dust yourself off, mate. You're all right. Settle for 1." End of the over, 121 for 4. 14 overs gone. And Stephen Croft playing his 199th T20 match. 199 T20 games for Stephen Croft. His T20 debut came for Lancashire against Derbyshire in 2006. And he's still going.
Well, at least it makes me feel better about myself. I know someone who is still playing that I played with. It's a great testament to his fitness, to his dedication. Just to play that many T20 games, and T20 is really high intensity. And Crofty is someone who throws himself around in the field. He covers some distance as well. He's often found in the action areas on the pitch.
He ripped a pad when he fell then. A new pad coming on for him. Paul Nixon gave us some astonishing stats for the amount of the distance that the players had run during last year's T20. The actual during the games, the huge amounts.
Yeah.
Several kilometres sort of thing. Obviously in sprints as well.
It depends which ground you play on. Some grounds.
Yes.
But yeah, here at Lancashire, you can cover quite a distance, especially if you're having to do the long on to long on or cow corner to cow corner. The interesting thing about Crofty is he could only ever turn one way when he runs.
Oh, right.
Yeah, he's like,
literally,
like one of those power boats. Yeah, he's one of like a Formula 1 power boats. He can only turn left.
You know what I prefer? You've mentioned this before. That there is a film where there's an actor who plays a part of a model, and he can only turn left in the film. I can't remember the name of the film now, but I always think of that at that moment. You can only go one way. Can't turn right, only turn left.
I used to give him a hard time for that when I was playing with him.
Callum Parkinson back on at the Anderson end. Bowls down, the wicket goes. Croft hits very high and very, very straight for 6. Used his feet really nicely there. Parkinson, well, if you did see him coming, didn't adjust his length. A really clean hit.
Yeah, he got every part of that, did Crofty. That sailed cleanly over the top of the side screen.
Beginning to build with still the best part of 6 overs to go towards a fairly formidable score here. Lancashire 127 for 4. Parkinson in again to Croft, a little bit shorter this time. Croft rocks back and cuts it away through the offside. Ben Mike runs a good 20 yards away towards the hotel, puts in the slide, gets his throw away, but a comfortable 2 for Croft, who has 20 off his first 10 balls. 129 for Parkinson in already, hurrying through the over. Bowls a length delivery and just waiting for that one. Croft tries to steer it away through the offside, picks out Patel, who's at backward point on the edge of the circle. Doesn't get past him. Docked ball, a rare docked ball. Parkinson in again. Bowls, and he goes for the big, trying to work it away through the offside. I think they're off length ball and misses it, and Inglis demolishes the stumps, but Croft's back foot was firmly anchored. Curious sort of shot.
Well, I think that was a good turn and bounce there. That was
I was going to, it was a bit of bounce.
For turn and bounce there for Parkinson. That he'll be pleased to see that, will his twin brother.
Yeah, in he goes and bowls, and worked out through the offside by Croft, who's a little bit more circumspect, having seen that previous delivery. Pushed out towards long off, who comes in to meet the ball. Hill, it is out there, single taken, 130 for 4. Last ball of Parkinson's spell. He's in, reverse swept, but Patel dives away to his left and makes the stop. Allen can't get it through the infield. End of the over, 15th over. That is 130 for 4. Parkinson, 4 overs, no maidens, none for 42. But you reckon maybe a little bit unlucky with those, Stephen? Figures maybe deserved.
I think he bowled pretty well there. I think you're right. It was more a case of some good running between the wickets there, and obviously the odd big shot. But that's what can happen here at Old Trafford with these big pitches. You can turn what would be decent figures into pretty poor ones just from running between the wicket into the deep there. But in terms of how he bowled, I think he'll be pretty happy with his start.
5 overs left. Gavin Griffiths coming back into the attack. He's got 2 to bowl.
The destroyer, he's back.
The destroyer of the Lancashire top order. 2 in 2, dismissing Liam Livingston, caught behind for 25. Next ball, Naveen with a magnificent catch to see the back of Alex Davis. It was 2 in 2. Butler surviving the hat-trick bowl from Griffiths, who comes back in for the Foxes and bowls. That's muscled away out through the onside.
What a catch.
Oh, brilliant! Brilliant take. Croft has gone, and Aaron Lilly with a wonderful grab out on the deep mid-wicket boundary. Croft punching his batting frustration, swatting the ball through the onside. Look at that, both feet off the ground, and snatching it from the sky. Brilliant take. 3rd wicket for Griffiths. And Lancashire have lost a 5th, 130 for 5.
Yeah, the ex-Lancashire duo there, doing it on one of their ex-teammates. Wonderful fielding there from Aaron Lilly. He is a good fielder, but he knows this ground. You can see he's positioned himself in the deep there. Just the right distance, but a bit of pressure. Crofty thinking he might be able to clear him, but no, he was aware to it. And Crofty thought he might have got away with it. That's an important wicket, actually, because Crofty was the one who looked like he is getting a bit of rhythm into this Lancashire score, getting it up there, whereas Finn Allen has been struggling. So Leicester have an opportunity here to try and squeeze Lancashire and try and get this total down to one that they will feel more comfortable chasing.
He is a fabulous fielder, isn't he, Aaron? He has taken some magnificent catches in his career, and as you say, he knows the ground well, and is wonderfully positioned to take a really good catch. Full length ball by Gavin Griffiths, speared in to Finn Allen, who digs it out, and there's no run. Griffiths, 2.2 overs, 1 maiden, 3 for 10. Outstanding.
Wonderful figures, and this is a test of Finn Allen in his early career. He obviously has got a lot of talent, and he's progressed through the game, but he's obviously struggling out here. He has to get a total for Lancashire on the board. Can he do it?
43 from 36. But it is the man of the moment. Griffiths in and bowling to him. Low full toss, which is slapped down the ground. Just for a single. Just jogs through for 1. Ticks his score up to 44, not out. Score moves on to 131 for 5.
Best T20 figures 4 for 35, Griffiths, so every chance.
Halfway into his third. So Luke Wood, little flick of the pads, is on strike now for Lancashire. The field changes a little bit. There's a fine leg, there's a deep backward square leg, there's a deep at mid-wicket, deep extra cover as well. And it's Griffiths who comes in. Ball's right arm around the wicket, just back of a length, and Wood trying to muscle it away through the onside to that shorter leg side boundary, but a play and a miss through to the keeper. No run. Dot ball. Quite a breezy old evening here in Manchester, but the floodlights are on. There's one or two little chants around the ground from the spectators as well.
One Gavin Griffiths.
He's got his own little fan club.
Well, as I say, he's from not far away, so they might have all come down.
2 balls left of his third over. Keeper crouches down. Wood on strike waiting. Allen bowls, clears his leg and chips it straight to short third man. And Griffiths has career best figures in T20 cricket. That's his 4th wicket. 4 for 11. It's an outstanding evening for Gavin Griffiths. And Lancashire have lost their 6 at 131 for 6. Wood going for a big shot and just chipping it into the hands of short third man. Patel takes the catch. What a night for Gavin Griffiths.
Oh yeah, no, he'll be really pleased. But he's conscious trying to finish this off, and you can see him as soon as that catch was taken. He quickly turned to Finn Allen and asked him, "Have you crossed? Have you crossed? Am I going to be bowling to you, or can I have a crack at Lamb first, please?"
Please let it be Lamb.
Yeah, please let it be Lamb. You can see that. Yeah, he was on it. He was thinking about his next delivery, so he's keeping his concentration. And it is Danny Lamb.
Great night though, Richard, for Gavin. Superb evening.
I wonder if Ackers is getting worried.
2.5 overs, 1 maiden, 4 for 11 for Griffiths. So Lamb's on strike. He bowls, he fires it in full of length on off stump. He squirts it out through the onside, and he's scampering after that off his own bowling. Is Gavin Griffiths. I'll get that, please, boys. Leave it to me. End of the over. He's got 1 left to bowl, and he'll bowl it. 3 overs, 4 for 12, 4 to go.
I think you're trying to bowl it from the other end straight away. Let me keep going.
132 for 6.
It's amazing, isn't it? It's been a bit of a mixed bag from the Leicestershire bowlers, but they'll feel they're very much in the game at the moment. Each time Lancashire have started to build towards what looks to be a good score, they've nicked a wicket, or in Griffiths' case, a couple.
Yeah, no, the game's nicely poised here for an interesting finish. If Leicester can wrap these next 4 overs up and keep Lancashire down to 155, under 160, I think they'll be pretty happy with that.
Long discussion between Ackerman and Naveen. He will be pleased to be. He is obviously delighted to be playing at a wonderful ground like this, but there's something quite princely about Naveen when you talk to him. It's perfectly all to be expected. This is this is where I belong, sort of thing. And in he goes and bowls a very high looping slow bouncer that will be signalled a no ball by umpire O'Shaughnessy on height, understandably. It was very, very high, banged it into the pitch but got it horribly wrong. Danny Lamb just watched it sail several feet over his head. Naveen will try again. Couple of steps at the start of his run, and then he's into it, and then shortens his stride again and bowls, and it's hit into the air. Did it come off his feet or in the end off the pad? Not quite sure. It's signalled no. It didn't come off the pad at all. It hit it just into the ground off the bottom edge. Naveen ran down, turned and hurled the ball at the stumps at the non-strikers end. Missed them, but he'd made his ground anyway. Lamb moves on to a couple. What will Finn Allen make of these last 4 overs? It's kind of on his shoulders a little bit now to drag Lancashire towards that sort of 160, 165 they'll be hoping for. Need another 30 from 4, but just 4 wickets left. Naveen changing his field, or Ackerman changing Naveen's field for him. He's bringing deep backward square into the edge of the circle, dropping third man back. Well, they've had a good look at it, Allen, so far. Naveen with that longish and curious run comes in and bowls. He swings and gets a thick inside edge that trickles down towards Callum Parkinson at short fine leg. So just the single. Again, Allen not quite managing to find the middle of the bat. 45 off 38 for him. Griffiths comes back to the edge of the circle. And square leg, or backward square, goes back to the boundary. I feel that's Lamb's hitting area, perhaps. Waits with bat raised as Naveen is in and bowling. That is a slower ball and it's bowled him. Did it come off the bottom edge onto the off stump? I think it did. And Naveen has his wicket. Well, the slower ball variation. I think that was number 6. it worked. I'm starting to pick it now. Not a clue. But it did the job. 136 now for 7.
Yeah, he bowled that into the wicket again, but with the pace off, like you say, rolling his fingers on it, and Danny Lamb trying to sort of almost flat bat it back past him, and just all he could do was get a thick bottom edge onto his off stump. And another Lancashire wicket falls there, in danger here of ending up short of using their overs unless someone can stick with Allen, and if Allen can find some rhythm, that's about their best chance of putting on a decent total here. But to be honest with you, Allen hasn't looked happy out there, and Leicestershire have been able to chip away at the other end.
Tom Bailey, the new batsman, he's the one change from the Lancashire side that beat Derbyshire yesterday, coming in to replace Richard Gleeson. Hasn't played too many T20 matches, Tom Bailey. This is just his 20th game since his debut, which was 6 years ago. Not a regular in the T20 side for Lancashire.
3 balls of the over to go. Tall man Bailey just bobs at the knees as in goes Naveen and bowls to him outside off stump. He reaches for it and deflects it neatly down to Griffiths at third man. Takes the single, does his job, gets the man in back on strike. 137 for 7. 3.2 overs to go. Allen, when he took his helmet off there, he looked ridiculously young, really. he does look quite boyish, doesn't he? He is, I suppose.
21, I think.
Yeah. Square leg has come in, or deep backward square has come in again as Naveen is in. Outside off stump, full toss that floated down rather, stroked out into the offside. Good work down there at long off. Got his throw away quickly there, Hill, but he had a lot of ground to make up. Bailey galloped to make 1 into, or 1.5 into 2, and he made his ground. Allen on to 47, 139 for 7.
Yeah, by that I think Finn would have been, what, about 5 or 6 when Crofty played his first 2020 game?
Probably.
Not
even that?
Oh.
Be feeling old.
He will be in the change room, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Griffiths is leaving third man and going to, well, it's going to a very wide third man, almost deep backward point. And Patel has gone to a short third man on the edge of the circle. As Naveen is in to finish his third over, 1 for 33 so far. Bowls, again it's a full toss, again it's hit out into the offside. Hill runs around, fumbles rather, but he did his job, he stopped it, managed to stop it going to the extra cover boundary. 2 taken by Bailey. He moves on to, by Allen, beg your pardon, he moves on to 49, 141 for 7, 3 overs to go. But one of them will be bowled by Gavin Griffiths.
Golden arm, Griffiths tonight, certainly.
It'll be interesting to see how brave Colin Ackerman is here to Bailey. If he's brave, he might bring a couple of extra fielders into the ring here and try and squeeze, just make it a bit harder for Bailey to get off strike and keep Allen down the non-striker's end. Chances are he won't, but if he was, that would be an aggressive move, that, and try and just squeeze Lancashire a bit.
I think Stephen Croft may have been 6 when.
Was he 6?
I think he was just turned 6 when he played his first T20.
Finn Allen was.
Yeah, Finn Allen was 6 when Croft played his first T20. There's Ackerman then. He's had a very good night himself. I mean, the headlines have been Gavin Griffiths so far, but 3 overs, 2 for 12. Blimey, that's a terrific return from Colin Ackerman. Concedes a run here. That one just nudged away for a single. So Bailey moves to 2, 142 for 7. Brings Finn Allen on strike. So he's 49 off 40. So he's a run away from a first Lancashire 50. Plays it back over the bowler's head. He'll get the 50 here. And he wants 2, actually. Throw comes in. It's a sharp work actually by Will Davis to send the throw in, but Finn Allen reaches his first 50 for Lancashire. 144 for 7, and Allen unbeaten on 51, just his second game since joining. 51 off 41 balls and 5 fours. Want to go on in these remaining few overs. He's muscling this ball off the back foot down the ground towards Davis again, this time just for 1. 52 not out from 42 balls faced. 145 for 7. And we're halfway into the 18th over. Tom Bailey's on strike. And it's Colin Ackerman from the Stay the Men over the wicket to Bailey. Worked through wide mid-on. Again, Davis comes stomping up from the boundary to field. Bailey gets a single. He moves up to 3. 146 for 7.
Was it last year when Bailey took 5 against?
That's right.
Leicestershire.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Upton Steel, as it is
That's the one I was looking for. This is Allen off the back foot, muscled away through mid-wicket, and it beats the attempt from Aaron Lilly, diving forward to try and stop the ball, but a 4 for Finn Allen. Get right deep into his crease, muscled away. There goes the dive from Aaron Lilly.
And that's what Allen will learn playing here at Old Trafford. Actually hitting it low and hard with the pace of the pitch, you actually get more value than trying to hit it high and long. That was a great shot, that.
56 to him now, 150 on the board for Lancashire Lightning. 1 ball left of the 18th. Short goes Ackerman this time, and Allen slaps it down the ground. Ben Mike comes up to field. Allen gets 1. Crucially for Lancashire Lightning, he's on strike. He'll want to face, obviously, the majority of these final 12 deliveries. And Tom Bailey will want Finn Allen to face as many as possible. 151 for 7.
Yeah, absolutely. That's Tom Bailey's job now, is get Finn Allen on strike, and hopefully Finn can start clearing some ropes or finding that boundary with a bit more regularity than he's been able to do so far today. 2 big overs.
He may not have timed everything perfectly, but it's been a hugely valuable knock in the context of the innings as a whole, hasn't it?
Yep.
It's held it together, really. New Zealander. Naveen to bowl out from the James Anderson end. Bowling to Allen. Again, with the outriders in front of the bat for the most part, both third man and Fine leg on the edge of the circle for the Afghan pace bowler. In he goes and bowls very wide outside off stump. Reached for it a little bit, Allen, but he said, says umpire O'Shaughnessy, that Allen had stepped across a little bit. I'm not sure he did, actually, on that one. But there you go.
It was tight, but...
It was.
They obviously don't believe that Finn plays any ram shots because they've definitely set the field expecting him just to try and drill it back down the ground.
He certainly varies his pace, Naveen. He can get it through at a decent leg, that's for sure. He comes. Bowls, that's a better length from the bowler's point of view, except that it gave Allen the chance to swing it high over, almost straight long on, for 6 essentially. I say better length, it wasn't a better length at all in that respect. Sat up a little bit, it was a slightly slower delivery. Allen just swung.
And once again, every time he's been hitting that slower ball, he's actually bowled it wide of the stumps. When he's bowled with pace wide, he's got away with it, but every time he's bowled a slower ball outside of stump, the Lancashire batsmen have got underneath it and hit him for a boundary.
Allen into the 60s now, 63 from 46. His first maximum of the innings, that is. In goes Naveen and bowls to him. He steps across, slices it a little bit over extra cover. Ackerman turns and signals to his fielders. Ben Mike is the one who gets to the ball first, runs in front of Hill, throws to the non-striker's end. But Bailey had done his running successfully, made his 2 comfortably. Allen on to 65, 159 for 7, 18.3. 9 balls to go. Pretty much 160 then now. Can they get it up to 175, even 180? Naveen's going to go around the wicket to Allen on 65. Allen opens his stance accordingly, stepped right across as Naveen bowls outside off stump. Sort of Yorker length. If he misses the throw, he did. He picked it up. Bailey had advanced down the wicket. All he had to do was hit the stumps. He wasn't able to do so. It ran out towards long gone. He took the risk, gave away a single.
He part of
what do you do?
Thinking, well, I think you're probably thinking, if I miss, I get to bowl to Bailey.
So it's a win-win.
Well, his captain was going, what are you doing?
Bailey looks around him. Lots of changes to the field again. Where are you going to bowl this one? I'm not sure. Naveen is absolutely certain. In he comes. Bowls. Bailey steps right across, a good slower bouncer. He tries to somehow swing it away into the leg side. It was quite a long way wide of off stump, and he didn't get anything on it.
What number slow ball was that one?
Well, that was certainly, it was another new one, wasn't it? We must have seen all 6 one way or another. But or 7, beg your pardon.
Tom Bailey has a free hit now. This is 6-4 or out.
Doesn't want a single off this ball. Who's Naveen signalling to? There wasn't a change in the field as a consequence. In he comes to, from his point of view, hopefully finish his spell. In he goes and bowls again a slower ball, and oh, good work. Oh, he's gone. Oh. He's been given good work by English, who came running up, took the bottom edge, underarm ball at the stumps, and Bailey was a little bit casual in putting his bat back down, and according to umpire Blackwell, too casual. He didn't get his bat back down. He's been run out. 160 for 8. It wasn't sort of too casual, was he really? He went a long way down, I suppose, but...
I love that. Being run out in a desperate bid not to be on strike.
160 for 8 at the end of the 19th.
Tom Hartley, the new batsman.
Close one.
Aye.
Yeah, brave decision by Ian Blackwell there, but I think you're probably right. He was just short of his ground.
So, final over then. 160 for 8. It's taken a lot of hard work, hasn't it, to get to 160 for 8. There's been some super bowling from Leicestershire Foxes. The fielding's been great. The catches have basically all been taken. So the bowler's been backed up by some wonderful work out in the deep by the fielders. And it's the golden boy of the night, isn't it? Gavin Griffiths, who's going to bowl this final over. 4 for 12.
Can he get a fifer?
Can he get a fifer? Can he get Finn Allen to celebrate a fifer? He looks as cool as a cucumber, but I'm sure his heart's beating. Final over of the Lightning innings. He goes for the ramp shot, Finn Allen, and he gets it. Scooped over the shoulder, over the keeper, down towards the boundary. 4 runs.
There we go. He does have it in his locker. That was a very good ramp shot as well. Griffiths got the ball right up there, tied him up, but chest on, and Finn Allen just managed to just lift it enough to get over his own left-hand shoulder and beat the keeper. And that'll get Griffiths thinking, but he shouldn't change what he's done, keep the field the same. It's been a winning formula for him so far this evening. Griffiths talking to his skipper, asking what he should do, and if the skipper's got any sense, he'll be telling him, stick with what's been working. Don't change. He is dropping finally back though and bringing mid-off up.
So finally back, mid-off comes in, long on, deep mid-wicket, deep square leg. There is Griffiths bowling fallen off stump. It's driven down the ground, cut off by Ben Mike, who's just come up from that boundary inside the circle. So they've taken 1. Finn Allen moves to 71 not out. Score moves on to 165 for 8.
Yeah, Finn was definitely looking there to try and take advantage. He'd forced the change in the field. He tried to give himself room outside leg stump and open up that shot over mid-off and cover. But Griffiths managed to get that nice and tight to leg stump.
Got the new batsman Tom Hartley on strike.
Livingston carried his bat yesterday then, at the top of the order.
He did, yep.
And a chance of doing the same.
Legside fielders all back towards the boundary rope. Hartley on strike. Griffiths around the wicket. Slower ball. Oh, and he might be run out. Well, at least that was the attempt from the keeper as they thought about going to get through for a bye and get Allen back on strike, but a dot ball. 165 for 8. Halfway into the final over.
I think if the throw had hit, he was gone.
I think he was. 4 for 17.
13 dot balls. Is that what Gavin Griffiths has bowled?
Yes, it is. Yeah. Griffiths in balls again. It's full. It's driven. Beats the man at mid-off. 4 runs. Hartley kind of stands and delivers. No frills from Hartley. Clubbed it down the ground. 4.
Yeah, nice strike that. Griffiths will be a little bit disappointed. He just missed his length there and gave Hartley the chance to get his hands underneath the ball.
All jam for Hartley.
I like it, Rich. Have you got that one written down? I quite like
No, it's just, sorry.
I'll use that one later on this season, I think. Make a note of it. 2 balls left. Griffiths around the wicket. Pushed away into extra cover by Hartley. That's decent, isn't it, from Tom Hartley. Gets a 4, gets a single, gets Allen on strike for the last ball.
Nice little red inker there for Hartley now.
It's a 4-1.41. This final over.
Yeah, by a long way his most expensive.
Well, there's loads of pointing here, isn't there? Chat with the captain. Who do you want where? Oh, I'm going to give somebody a bit of a wave. Bring somebody up from the boundary. Get everybody back in position. Toss the ball from one hand to the other. Every run, as we know in T20, crucial. Comes down to such small margins. Gavin Griffiths wanting to make sure he's happy with how the field's all looking. Little stutter at the start of his approach, and here he comes. Final ball of the innings. Full of length, driven down the ground by Finn Allen. Will be cut off. They'll come back and try and add 2, and he comes back for a very well-run second. And that is the end of the Lancashire Lightning innings. And they finish on 172 for 8. And Finn Allen does carry his bat. So a wonderful effort from Finn Allen and some superb bowling from Gavin Griffiths. 4 for 24, I think, is his final bowling figures. Backed up by Colin Ackerman's 2 for 22. And some wonderful fielding as well by the Leicestershire Foxes. There's Finn Allen slowly makes his way off the field down below us here. 172 for 8 is what they've finished on, Stephen. So 173 to win. What's your kind of views of that?
I think that's a par score. Leicestershire can chase that down, but they're going to have to bat well. Lancashire will be pretty happy they've got enough on the board there that that's going to be a challenge for Leicester, and if their bowlers hit their straps, I think it'll be a really big challenge, especially with as many spinners and options that Dane Villas has in his armoury. So it could be exciting, especially if Leicester get off to a good start.
Well, that's the man that certainly, from a Lancashire Lightning point of view, has had a really good night. Finn Allen makes his way back up the stairs towards the Lancashire dressing room, unbeaten in the end on 73. So Lancashire Lightning 172 for 8.
So the Leicestershire Foxes will be chasing 173 to win this one in the Vitality Blast North Group for the second time in 2 days. Innings. Yesterday it was Liam Livingstone. Today it was Finn Allen playing just his second game for the Lightning in the Vitality Blast. Now, normally in non-COVID times, there would be a very special young junior member here at Lancashire who will go out and be part of the ceremonial toss before the game. They will play a large role in that, but unfortunately, due to reasons that everybody understands, that's not possible right now. But yet there is still a junior member who is having a very special evening, and I'm going to step out and I will show you Stan Price. Hello, Stan. Give us a big wave to the camera. Stan has already received, courtesy of Lanky and his group of friends who know where to get all the cool stuff, a lovely little goodie bag there. Inside are many wonderful things, including a bat signed by Matt Parkinson. So Stan, lovely to have you here. Ladies and gentlemen, can we have a round of applause for Stan and of course for Lanky as well. And if you're a junior member, of course, there are wonderful, wonderful things that you can have by being a junior member, including hopefully at some point an opportunity to be part of the toss. Now, thank you to both of you. We'll be talking to Paul Shaw about that Lancashire innings in just a moment, but if you're lucky enough to be watching on the stream, here are some highlights. A real feature innings by Finn Allen, making just his second appearance as the overseas player for the Lancashire Lightning. I'm alongside the Thunder and Lancashire women's coach, Paul Shaw, who's with me to talk about, yet again, an opening batsman who has carried his bat. You don't see it very often in T20 cricket, but we've seen it twice in 24 hours and a bit.
Yeah, for sure. I think Finn Allen played superbly well, didn't he? And actually, this Lancashire team needed him to do that today on a pitch that's slowing a little bit. And I think Leicestershire Foxes took pace off quite well. And obviously, Griffiths on his return, 4-4, and Ackerman, 2-4, bowled really well. But the way that Allen paced his innings today, I think, was superb on a track that he's just beginning to slow a bit.
Yeah, it's interesting because Liam Livingstone's innings was different because it's had 40 fewer overs in it yesterday than it has now, so that's a crucial part of it. So a different innings, but might be just as crucial.
Yeah, for sure, because I think Liam Livingstone got the team off to a great start, didn't he? So that created momentum, and that momentum at certain times was lost in the middle period of the game, but Allen batting the way he did showed a contrasting style, but still someone that bats through at a runner ball, just above a runner ball, is still important in T20 cricket.
It's very interesting how last night's game is playing out in a similar sort of way, because it's a very similar total that the Leicestershire Foxes will now have to chase, and Lancashire did their job very well last night, but it wasn't easy by any means, and they'll be thinking it'll be the same sort of task for the Foxes.
Yes, exactly the same type of task. And I think the other thing is Lancashire ran really, really well. When they found it was difficult to score boundaries, they ran really well by running twos. And I think Leicestershire Foxes will probably have to do the same thing tonight.
Paul, great to talk to you again. Thank you very much indeed. That's Paul Shaw. Good luck to everything that the Thunder and the Lancashire women do for the rest of the season. To Paul, thank you very much indeed. And you will notice that our standing umpires are coming back onto the field. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ian Blackwell and Steve O'Shaughnessy. Opening the batting for the Leicestershire Foxes, please welcome number 95, Joss Inglis, and number 55, Scott Steele. And led by Captain Dane Villas, please welcome once again the Lancashire Lightning.
Still doing good.
So here we go. Let's see what is in store here with Lancashire Lightning trying to defend 172. 173 the target for the Leicestershire Foxes. I think Tom Bailey opened up the bowling for Lightning. Inglis and Steele and Richard.
Yeah, interesting one. It's the first time Leicestershire supporters have seen Scott Steele in the green. Hasn't had a chance in the red ball game. Arrived from Durham. Durham wanted to keep him. They offered him another contract, but he decided to make the move. It is Steele who's going to be on strike to Bailey. Talk about destroyers. Bailey pretty much destroyed Leicestershire at, as we've been saying, at what is now the Upton Steel County Ground last season. Took a brilliant catch as well, didn't he?
He did. It was a stunner.
Stunning
Absolutely
catch. Yeah,
worldly, wasn't it?
In he comes. Ball to Steele, short, work chipped towards mid-wicket, who came running in, didn't quite manage to get there. Again, maybe what you're saying about the pitch being slightly too pacey, it banged in. It wasn't particularly, I don't think that was the slower ball action, was it? It just banged it in and it popped up a bit.
Yeah, it just didn't quite come on to him, so we'll see. I mean, they have scored quite a lot of runs in the first 6. These are key overs.
Bailey in again, 2 Steels looking to work it away off stump, off into the offside. Works it out only as far as point. And there is no run again.
You can really see the Lancashire fielders are really aggressive. They're coming in really tight here, trying to put their presence onto the batsman.
And Livingston, who was at slip for the first couple of deliveries, now coming out, going to boost the covers, give Bailey a little bit more cover on the offside as he comes in and bowls 2 steal down the leg side. That's going to run away for 4. I think he got a little bit of glove on that, or perhaps towards the top of the bat, pulled it away fine, and it runs down to the boundary for 4. So Leicestershire are up and running. Scott Steele picks up 4.
Well, Bailey, I mentioned he's not played too much T20 cricket for Lancashire. Played a lot of red ball stuff for the Red Rose, but the white ball in his hand now.
Bailey in again, 2 steal, again it's short, again it's pulled around the corner, this time over the top of umpire Blackwell, out towards deep backward square. Single taken, didn't get it all by any stretch of the imagination, but square leg back on the boundary, so comfortable single. Leicester supporters on Twitter a little bit umming and ahhing about the size of the chase. A bit high, I think, says Jake, it'll be tough. But much praise for the bowling of Gavin Griffiths. Which about sums it up, really. It will be tough, and Griffiths did bowl very, very well. In goes Bailey, and bowls to Inglis, who does not mistime that ball. Wow! First ball for Leicestershire with the bat. Fairly whistles to the boundary. Goodness me, well, I was saying he wasn't like Ronke, that was rather Ronke-esque.
He smoked that poor shot. It was short, but Inglis is not the tallest of stature batsman I've seen out there, but he just short arms swiveled and he struck that beautifully, travelled just over the top of the square leg umpire's head, almost to the boundary. Short boundary.
It was only about a foot short of being 6. Goodness me, that travelled. 9 without loss after 5 balls. Bailey in again and wants to keep the strike. Inglis, he just drops it into the leg side. He scampered the run quickly, making me think he wanted 2, but I suspect he just wanted to keep the strike. End of the over. 10 without loss after 1.
41 T20 matches for Inglis, 941 runs, top score of 73, average of 29, strike rate of 143 in 8 50s from his 41 T20 matches.
They got to the final, I think, didn't they, of the Big Bash Perth?
They did, yeah.
But were beaten by Sydney, or one of the Sydney sides.
He would have been, yeah, he's in the same team as Liam Livingston, who's part of that Perth Scorchers side as well. So, they've got to know each other over the course of the winter.
They probably did as well, compared to the amount of time spent in hotels and things like that at the moment. Teammates will have got to know each other probably more than they wanted to, I would imagine. But another game of Scrabble? Oh, no.
I like the idea of that. Luke Wood left arm over, so low full toss, which is flicked away out towards deep backward square leg. And come back for a second. Davis stops the ball, gets 2 Inglis, moves up to 7, score moves on to 12 without loss. I like the idea of modern cricketers getting an old board game out and playing a bit of Scrabble. I suspect it's probably more a video game.
It's more likely to be, yeah. I'm not sure I ever saw the Scrabble come out on the team bus or in the hotel, that's for sure.
Never played Monopoly on the way down to Bristol or something. Here is Wood, left arm over again, but down the leg side, and taken by Butler. Wide has been signalled.
Travel Scrabble.
Little mini games. Can imagine you and Paul Horton doing that.
You know, the bus was divided between the guys who were willing to put the money on the table for the cards at the front of the bus, or the guys at the back of the bus on the Xbox. Yeah. And it tended to be a generational divide as well. That
13 without loss. The Foxes need another 160 to win. We're in the second over of the game. Fallen off stump, and it's squirted down towards short third man, Danny Lamb. They tumble in stop for Lancashire Lightning, and there's no run.
Brave delivery, that wide outside the off stump. Every fielder on the offside is up on the ring, with the 2 men back on the leg side at deep backward square and cow corner. So Wood sort of toying with Inglis there, suggesting what he's going to bowl, and then double bluffing.
5 inside the ring on the offside. Mid on, short fine leg, 2 out on the leg side boundary. Rattles into the pads of Inglis. And Steele was backing up kind of halfway down, sent back. And the ball deflects and into the offside, picked up by Luke Wood. And there is no run. 13 without loss. Live from Emirates, Old Trafford. Lancashire Lightning against the Leicestershire Foxes in the North Group fixture of the Vitality Blast. Lancashire played 1 and 1-1. The Foxes making their first appearance of this year's competition. The first group game for the Foxes this evening.
1 for 40 yesterday for Luke Wood.
Yeah, it's a tough night for him with the ball, and for Gleeson as well with his 1 over. He's muscled away through mid-wicket. Parkinson is shimmering after it, and they'll come back for a second, and that's a well-run second. We praise Lancashire's ability to turn 1s to 2s and 2s to 3s, and came back well to make sure they got a second there.
Yeah, very good running that. They picked the fielder, and that's actually prompted a change now. The skipper said to Parky, why don't you just go and sit over there at mid-on, why don't you, and I'll chase that next time.
You save your legs, Matt. Don't worry about it. I'll get after it. With left arm over bowling. Driven into the offside. We mentioned that ring of fielders inside the circle. One of them's Tom Hartley. And is drilled to Hartley, and there's no run. It's the final ball of the second over coming up. Wood from the Brian Statham end, running in towards the pavilion. Inglis on strike for the Foxes, waiting as Wood bowls. Certainly uppishly, this flick off the pad. It's safe enough with Liam Livingston at deep backward square leg, so plenty of grass for that to land into. No alarms for him. He gets a run, keeps the strike, moves to 10. End of the over. 16 without loss, 2 overs into the Foxes' reply. And the target is 173 to win.
Decent over.
Yeah, they're a decent start yet. And they will have their eye on getting somewhere around the 50 to 60 mark after the first 6 overs, and ideally not having lost any more than 1 or 2 wickets. And if they can do that, then Leicester will be in a good position to try and chase the score down.
Lamb takes over from Bailey at the James Anderson end. We're bowling to Inglis with deep mid-wicket and deep backward square. In he goes, bowls to Inglis, who almost baseball style shot, tries to whack it away through the, I think he was trying to hit it straight essentially. It came right off the bottom of the bat, which he examines critically at the moment, and squirted out towards mid-wicket. Had to hurry up in the end to make his 1, but he did make it, 17 without loss. It was 1 foot off the ground. Almost helicopter swat. Didn't come off. Lamb is in again, short, pulled this time more successfully by Steele, but only as far as the man at deep mid wicket. Lamb bowling to his field, takes the single. 18 without loss. Sun comes back out at Old Trafford. A few darkish, sort of vaguely threatening clouds, but no rain, thankfully, and they are pretty much passed over now, travelling at a fair rate of knots, actually. And it looks all fair away where the weather is coming from. In goes Lamb and bowled, driven, fullish, but a good stop. Should have stopped it and did at wide extra cover. It was a fullish delivery outside off stump, fairly conventional off drive. Davies out there.
It is.
It is, yeah. Used to him. In goes Lamb and bowls again outside off some. Just held it back a little bit, mistimed it. Inglis on that occasion bounced out into the covers. Livingston came running in, didn't pick up the ball cleanly, but nothing lost as a consequence. The single was always going to be there, but just singles at the moment for the Foxes. 19 without loss after 2.4. Steele 6 off 5 on strike as in goes Lamb, bowls to him short, but a slower ball again, swatted it out towards mid-wicket, who came in and threw at the stumps, but he'd made his ground comfortably. Anyway, Luke Wood, a left armer of course, with the throw. Again, a single. Good over again so far for Lancashire and for Lamb in this instance. 20 without loss. The boundary's not coming at the moment for the Foxes, just a couple of them. To finish his over, bowls, hit high into the air, over extra cover. I don't think he's going to get back to it. He isn't. It plugs around about 10 yards behind the fielders as they turned and sprinted towards the hotel. Got there in the end, picked up a couple of runs. Scott Steele, 22 without loss after 3 Leicestershire. That's okay, they won't be too concerned at this stage. No wickets down, that's not the main thing, but it's an important thing.
Yeah, it's good that they're both still there. One of these batsmen is going to want to try and get on the better side of the bowlers in these next 3 overs here and try and get that score up. Inglis is hopefully going to learn that trying to hit long and deep into the Lancashire outfielders is probably not going to help you. That same shot hit along the ground, it would race away for 4 like Josh Butler was doing. And a few of the Lancashire batsmen, it's a deceptive ground. This is really, really long in those corners. But if you can keep it on the ground, it travels really fast away from the fielders.
Tom Bailey coming back into the attack for Lancashire. First 2 overs went for 16. No, correction. First over went for 10 as he is in and bowling to Steele. That's worked away into the onside. Livingston comes up from deep mid-wicket to field. Just a 1 run, 23 without loss.
And you can see the positioning there. Livingston must have been 15 metres from the boundary there already. Charging in, preventing that too. This is going to be the challenge.
Yeah, deep backward square leg, deep mid-wicket. Bailey right arm over the wicket and balls. Looks to go for the kind of ramp and gets it over short, fine leg. Davis goes galloping after it. It's a valiant effort from Davis. Oh, and blimey, he almost hurdles the fence in front of the hotel. He's probably grateful for the fence being there. He might not have stopped without it. He's got
into the road, isn't he?
He's still going somewhere near, towards Bolton, I think. 27 without loss. 2 balls into the 4th.
And that was a nice shot there. He actually managed to add a little bit of pace on that, which, with a flick of the wrist to get it over short, fine leg. If he just tried to play the conventional ramp shot, he probably would have been caught. Inglis saw the pace wasn't there for him, and he just flicked it with his wrist, gave it the extra bit of oomph it needed to get over the boundary.
Here comes Bailey again. Lancashire just drops it back of the length delivery. Takes a bit of pace off it, I think, as well. It may have deceived the batsman completely. Through to Josh Butler, no run. Don't often see Tom Bailey with a ball using variations. He's kind of hit top of off. Yeah. Get the ball to nibble around a little bit.
It's one of the challenges if you don't play a lot of white ball cricket, is the fact that you do have to change your deliveries up a lot.
And again, down the leg side this time, however. Umpire Blackwell spins around, arms outstretched. Signals are wide. Score moves on to 28 without loss. Halfway into the 4th over.
Did you ever think about umpiring, Stephen? No, clearly not.
No chance.
No chance.
Thankless job, that.
Bailey in, slow ball again, hit back over his head, 1 bounce and a second, and it skids along towards the boundary, mid-off and mid-on inside the rope, and he goes down the ground for 4. Score moves on to 32 without loss.
Yeah, he spotted that straight out of the hand. Nice steady position, planted the foot, gave himself room to release his hand through the ball. Really good shot.
Umpire Blackwell was a little bit lively too, wasn't it? The old ball was in there. Bailey in again and bowling off the back foot. That beat the infield, it does. And that'll be 4 more. And this is turning into a real gem of an innings here for Inglis and for the Foxes. 36 without loss, forcing the ball away, beating the dive of one of 5 fielders inside the circle on the offside, and gets it away for 4.
Yeah, not a bad delivery in 4-day cricket. That was, into the wicket just over the top of off stump. But again, 2020, anything can happen.
Final ball of the over. 36 without loss. He goes for that kind of scoop over short fine leg, and that's turned into a very good over for the Leicestershire Foxes. 18 off it, 4 gone, 40 without loss, and we're seeing quite a few different shots being played.
We have, yeah. No, that is really top class batting from Inglis there. He had the measure of Bailey. He could almost predict what Bailey was going to bowl before Bailey bowled it, and he had the answer for pretty much every delivery in that over.
Early days, but he doesn't look too bad a signing, does he?
Absolutely.
It reminds me of a different type of cricketer, but I remember playing against Kevin Peterson and Kerrigan down at Guildford.
Oh, yeah, crikey.
Kevin Peterson scored 200 and plenty, and at one point, I think he pretty much decided what shot he wanted to play before we bowled it, and then hit it, whether it was left-handed, right-handed. And Kerrigan was getting more and more disdainful as he was being dispatched into the various parts of Guildford.
Well, Lamb, having bowled a pretty good over last time out, is going to continue from the Anderson end. Bowls to Steele, who just works it off his legs out into the leg side and scampers too, long way in from that boundary. And Stephen Croft gave it everything, couldn't quite get there in time to prevent the second. Steele, who was an interested spectator in that previous over, during which Inglis moved on to 30 from just 17 balls. Steele has 10 from 8. Leicestershire 42 without loss. Lamb hiding the ball with his left hand, runs in and bowls to Steele, who does exactly the same thing. Will he go for the second again? No, not on this occasion. Fielder got there more quickly this time. I think it was Livingston got there from mid-on the edge of the circle across to mid-wicket. So just the single for Steele moves on to 11, 43 without loss. Inglis looks around him. Men out still are at deep backward square and mid-wicket. Lamb is in, bowls to the Australian, who drives him away, advanced down the wicket, just made a little bit of room, almost got to the ball to make it into a half volley and crunched it away gloriously through straight extra cover for 4. No chance for the fielders out there.
That's the shot you want to play here at Old Trafford, is that shot around about knee height. If you just pierce the gap, it's 4 every time. Wonderful shot. That you get more reward for that actually than trying to clear the infield and hit it high and long. It just tends to plug. That's a wonderful shot.
Having seen him advance down the wicket, Joss Buttler calls for the helmet and goes to stand up to the stumps. Keep Inglis in his ground is his intention. 47 without loss. Inglis 34 off 18. Lamb in again. He's going to try reverse sweep. He's been bowled. Inglis punches his bat in annoyance. Middle stump leans back, but that could be a huge moment in the game. Inglis was going so well. He'd hit the previous ball for 4. Tried an audacious reverse sweep. Missed it. Lost his middle stump.
He'll be sitting in the change room wondering, did he need to do that? He's been hitting the ball so well. He just started to find his rhythm and his timing. He did not need to play a reverse sweep. And you're right, considering how well he was timing it, that's a very big wicket for Lancashire.
Another 4 or 5 overs of Inglis could have almost taken the game away from Lancashire. But once again, as during the Lancashire innings, a wicket has fallen just when momentum has been established, and let's see what happens now.
Early signs, Richard, but I think you're going to enjoy watching him bat. He looks good fun.
Yeah, it looks that way. If anybody, well, actually the first 3 games at Grace Road are all sold out in terms of the number of tickets they're allowed to sell, but if you can get down there further on, it looks like it's going to be worth watching Josh Inglis. But it's going to be for the other Leicestershire players now to try and pick up where the Yorkshire-born Australian left off. 47 for 1 now.
He had a good night with the ball, didn't he, Danny Lamb, yesterday for Lancashire. 4 overs, 1 for 23 was an excellent return.
In he goes and bowls to Aaron Lilly, who just drops the delivery out into the offside and calls for the single. He'll be very keen to do well. Did well here last year, didn't he, Lily? I seem to remember. I think. I'd have to look it up. But I think he got a few runs here last year.
Getting a long ball, Aaron, he can do. But this wicket does look like it's suiting Lamb, so it's going to be a challenge.
And he comes to finish his over bowls to Steele onto the body of the former Durham man. Tries to work it into the leg side, doesn't get anything on it. It bounces off the legs out towards short mid-wicket. Butler comes out from behind the stumps and gets there, and there is no run. So 48 without loss after 5 at this stage. Lancashire were 47 for 2, so pretty much even Stevens.
One thing I could never understand is that when the keeper would come up to the stumps to medium pace, like he's just done there to Danny Lamb, batsmen don't use their feet. But against spinners, they do. So why wouldn't you against the medium pacer?
Did you?
Well, I started towards the back end. I remember having a discussion with Morsey in the nets when we were sort of working on 2020, and obviously there'd be guys running here, especially on English wickets, where they'd come in and try and, you know, push you back in your crease. And we sort of worked on it a little bit, and I sort of said to him, well, why wouldn't I use my feet? I use them against spinners, and yeah, I guess that was the back end of my career.
Here's Hartley into the attack for the first time. Left arm spin, bowling from the stay of the men. Turning to the onside, no run.
You're not planning on missing the ball. You're not leaving any ball, so...
Hartley in again, fizzed in with a bit of pace. Lilly punches through mid-off for a single.
Is it easier for the pace bowler to say so you can spear it down the leg side and or set up with the wicket keeper? Say, look, if he...
I felt I had more chance against a spinner to miss it than a seamer.
Yeah.
You know, if the seamer is just straight up and down. And it's actually harder for the, you know, if they bowl with any kind of pace, for the keeper to take it actually stood up. So yeah, I'm surprised that more batsmen, if or when a seamer does have a keeper standing up, don't use their feet to them.
Keeper crouching down with the spinner on now for Lancashire. Hartley just about to get through his action, and something doesn't feel right. Pulls away. Tries again. Bouncing back in. Down the leg side to Steele. Taken by Butler, shuffling a pace to his left. Umpire spins his arms out again to signal a wide. Brings up the 50 for the Foxes. 50 for 1. We're in the 6th. Little dab out towards backward point. Wants one. Good running. Lilly was alert to what was happening there. Steele and Lilly working nicely. Getting through for a single. 51 for 1. Steele moves on to 12. Brings Aaron Lilly back on strike. Hardly to Lilly. Muscled away through mid-wicket. Quite get a hold of the whole thing on this occasion, but Davies comes up to complete the fielding. When Lilly moves up to 3, score to 52 for 1. Brings Steele back on strike. There's a deep point, there's a deep mid-wicket. 2 outside the circle. 2 balls left to the power play. Got a drop into the onside for a single from Steele off the back foot. Deep into his crease, pick up and throw from Dame Villas towards the bowler's end. But there's no run. Steele onto 13 now, 53 for 1. 1 ball left of the 6. I suspect Matt Parkinson will be somewhere out there twirling his arms around. He won't be too far away from coming into the attack as Hartley completes his first over. He's gone for 5 so far. Make that 6. That's just flicked up to mid-on. End of the over. 54 for 1. 6 overs gone. The power play done. Steele has 13 and Lilly unbeaten on 4. And there is the Leicester City flag. No sign on there of a FA Cup. I can't see. It's the old England flag and the Leicester City Football Club flag, but maybe it's under the
it's folded up, yeah, absolutely.
Just they've tucked it away. Don't want to boast too much about it.
They do. You might be there. Now then, another hugely important moment. Matt Parkinson, who is so effective in this form of the game, well, in any form of the game really, but particularly in this form of the game, is really a dangerous wicket-taking bowler as well as having a very low economy rate, tosses the ball from hand to hand, comes in to bowl to Lilly, who is forward suspiciously, just pushing at the ball and then indicating there was a little bit of something in the pitch for him. Steele gestures back. I talk about not understanding things. I'll come back to that point in a moment. In goes Parkinson. Lilly is down the wicket, but again prodding defensively, just dropping the ball out into the leg side off the pad, almost kneeing it away in a way, and taking the leg by. Why batsmen always signal if the ball has done something with their hand? Why, presumably their partner can see it, or the dressing room can see it. So why are you telling,
He knows Parky. I can't believe he shocked he bowled him a leg spinner.
He's in, Parkinson, and bowling and slog sweeping, really. Got plenty of it. Reached from well outside off stump at Scott Steele. Got it away towards deep mid-wicket, but again, it's just the single. 14 to Steele, 56 for 1. Crowd expectant. It's filled out a little bit. I think probably fairly close to the maximum. In goes Parkinson. Bowls down the wicket goes Lilly. Hits out towards deep mid-wicket. Will he be caught? Yes, he will. He knew he hadn't got all of it. Parkinson has taken a wicket. He got quite a lot of it. Aaron Lilly went very, very high out towards deep mid-wicket, and Finn Allen took the catch down there. Never really looked like missing it, in fairness. I wasn't sure whether the two fielders down there might just get in each other's way. A good call, and Allen took the catch.
Yeah, we saw a similar drop catch of Liam Livingstone yesterday afternoon in the same region of the ground, where the two fielders collided. They looked like they were going there, but at the last minute, I think Finn Allen put the call into his partner, who put the brakes on and allowed him to take the catch with ease.
Aaron Lilly's eyes lit up, didn't he? You just didn't. You felt like he probably wasn't going to stand there and die wondering.
No, he's one of those guys that I'm sure Parky knew that if you get it up above his eyes, it's only one shot he's playing, especially to the short boundary.
Big now, Ackerman's here. He probably holds the key if Leicestershire are going to get close. Ackerman has to make runs. One feels. Parkinson into Ackerman, who goes back, just niggles the ball out into the offside, nurdles it from off stump out towards backward point, and jogs a single. No, he doesn't, because they took one, didn't they? So it was Steele at that end. Sorry, folks. They took one while it was... I was watching the ball in the air, as one should, and of course the batsman crossed. Oh, Richard, apologies. Steele took the one there. 15 or 14. The Leicestershire fans still in good voice. Parkinson is in. Ackerman drives hard down into the ground. It bounces past Parkinson out towards long off, but the applause is for Matt Parkinson, who once again proving his worth for Lancashire. Immediately among the wickets, 1 for 3 from his first over at Leicestershire. Wobbling a little bit. They're 58 for 2 after 7. Lancashire at this stage 67 for 2.
Richard mentioned the economy rate of Matt Parkinson. I think when you look at his figures, he's 50 T20 matches, 83 wickets from his 50 T20 games. His economy rate is just 7.5 and over. His strike rate of 13 for a leg spin.
Yeah. But I mean, this is something that I think the game has sort of shown. We didn't expect when 2020 really started to pick up how important wrist spin could be.
Livingston replacing Hartley. That's clubbed down the ground by Colin Ackerman, just for a single. Takes him to 2, 59 for 2.
I'm thinking exactly what you're saying there, Scott. It's, they have this ability to take wickets that other bowlers struggle to do sometimes in 2020.
Steele back on strike. Here's Livingston into him, hops back into his crease, pushes it through mid-on. Croft jogs up, picks up the ball, throws on the bounce to Joss Butler. Score moves on by 1 to 60 for 2. Ackerman on strike. Livingston over the wicket to him. A little bit of width this time. Chops the ball down towards short third man. A little hesitation, but they get through even with that for a single. Ackerman up to 3. Livingston smiling as he clutches the ball and comes bouncing back in. Steele waits. Looks a sweep, but a sweep and a miss. Taken by Butler, who clips off the bails.
246 runs last season in this competition in 9 innings for Ackerman at 30.
And Steele pulls away. Livingston leaps up and turns back to his mark and fizzes one in. Ooh. Squares Steele up, trying to work it into the onside off a leading edge down towards short third man. Gets a run for it. Oh, and slightly sloppy fielding has allowed Foxes to come back for a second, so they've sneaked in another one there.
That will more than irritate Livingston, won't it?
Final ball of the 8th. 63 for 2. Steele on strike. Livingston in and bowling. A wristy flick out through square leg. Again, they go through with the intention perhaps of a second, but quickly up from the boundary to pick up the ball. It's the end of the over, so 8 gone. So the equation, 72 balls left. 109 runs needed to win from the stage. 8 wickets in hand. Steele 19 from 18 balls faced. And as Richard Ray mentioned, perhaps for the Foxes, the key man here could be Colin Ackerman. 3 from 3. How far, how deep can these two for the Foxes push it?
It's a bit of a gamble they've got to take here, Leicester. They can't rest on their laurels and they can't let Parky just bowl his overs out. So it's a tough one.
And he comes and bowls to Steele, who works it out towards deep mid-wicket. Should be 2. Steele thinking about it. Ackerman thinks otherwise. Good work coming in off the boundary there. Means that it is just the 1. 65 for 2. Parkinson in and bowling, tosses it up a little bit, slapped hard down into the ground. The crowd thinks it might have been a catch as he leapt up, got his right hand to the ball. Matt Parkinson even slowed it down. Groan from the crowd. Parkinson is in again. Back goes Ackerman and pulls slightly short of a length ball out towards deep mid-wicket. Again, it's just the single. There is the man on the boundary out there. Allen, it is. 66 for 2. Again, the boundaries have dried up a little bit as far as the Foxes are concerned. Parkinson in. Steele tries a reverse sweep, gets a little piece of it, gets it away out towards, well, deep backward point in the end. Davies came running in. Just the single, though, to Steele. 21 off 20 for him.
This is nice field. The captain Dane Villis is really tight at a straight cover, putting pressure on them.
Parkinson is in. Back goes Ackerman, working it out towards long on, up to Steele whether he wants a second. He doesn't, as in from long gone comes Livingston. Looks like he shed a pound or 2, you know, Livingston. Looks very lean, looks really in good shape over the winter, perhaps, and the early part of the summer. In goes Parkinson and worked out towards mid-wicket again, but they're only getting 1 for these runs. The fielders are coming in quickly from the boundary. Alan, it's what you were saying, Stephen, about coming in, and that's part of the Lancashire game plan in a way to restrict these.
Yeah, and Leicester are kind of playing into their hands. Obviously, you know, you've got Parkinson, who's one of your weapons, and Leicester are kind of letting him bowl at them, which means the Lancashire fielders can be aggressive. They can come in tight. The captain's obviously, you know, setting quite an aggressive field, and that's dangerous because, you know, if you let Parkinson get away with bowling his 4 overs, even if he doesn't take many wickets, but he only goes for, you know, 18 or 20 runs, you have to get a lot off the rest.
Livingston will continue. It's in these kind of middle overs, Lancashire. And Steele now working the ball that way through mid-wicket. I think just for 1. Lancashire tend to try and squeeze, don't they, with the spinners that they've got. Hartley, Parkinson, Livingston.
Yeah, and you can see they've got the fielders back on the leg side, but all of them are about 15 yards in from the boundary, tempting the batsman.
Livingston in, going for that tempt is Ackerman, over towards long on, Croft diving for it, gets hands on it, and then the ball's over the rope for 4 runs for Colin Ackerman, who took it on, looking for that big shot, and he gets it, but only by the fingertips of Stephen Croft, 74 for 2.
5 years ago, Crofty, that would have stuck.
would have been a great catch. Full length, 2 hands to it, just, or 2 fingertips.
You can say that, I can't. Livingston balls, Ackerman cuts. It's a good one-handed stop inside the circle by Danny Lamb. But is that shot from Ackerman as a result of the pressure being built up from Parkinson?
Absolutely, yes. Yeah, and that's the danger, you know, your release shot.
Steele back on strike. Fizzed it a bit quicker from Livingston. Steele kind of shuffles back and pushes it back towards the bowler. Livingston picks it up, mops the brow.
That was the leg spinner, I think.
75 for 2. We're in the 10th. This is swept. It's picked up by Parkinson, who comes shuffling up from short fine leg. 76 for 2, and 1 ball remaining of the 10th. Steele on 23 from 24. Colin Ackerman on 10. Just sent him for the first time play a kind of really aggressive shot and got 4 for it. Down on one knee, looking to kind of slog sweep it almost, but in the end the ball just balloons up back down the pitch. And that's the end of the Liam Livingston over. 2 overs for 12 for him. 76 for 2. Halfway stage then. 76 for 2. So 60 balls left. 97 needed. 2 batsmen relatively well set with a few wickets in hand as well.
Yeah, and you can see how the game's slightly changing. I always, when I was batting, I used to like to use the Duckworth-Lewis to kind of gauge, you know, the health of the run chase. And at the 6-over mark, Leicester were about 8 runs ahead of the Duckworth-Lewis score, and they've just now dropped about, I think, 6 or 7 behind. So Lancashire, in this little period here, are wrestling the game away from Leicester. They need to be mindful of that.
Hartley on at the Anderson end, bowls onto the legs of Ackerman. He's cross with himself, tried to swat it away, I beg your pardon, Steele swatted away into the leg side, didn't get anything on it, and he's 23 off 25, Scott Steele. Now Hartley is in again, fires it in rather, this time it's on off stump, just drops it out into the offside, but again what might have been 2 is in fact just 1 for Leicestershire. Good fielding by Davies on this occasion, he's always quick over the ground. Alex Davies, 77 for 2. Ackerman waits, Hartley is ready, but no he isn't. He gets to the crease, gets into his action almost before pulling out. Tom Hartley walks back to his mark, tall, young left armour is in, drops a little bit short. Ackerman tries to hit it away into the offside, doesn't time it, it bounces down into the ground. Livingston at short extra makes the stop, not cleanly, but he made the stop. That was the key thing. Hartley in again and driven again, good work out there at extra cover.
Dane Villas.
Really like that fielding position, yeah. You can see the pressure's putting on Leicester. He's really tight in there in that short cover.
The squeeze is very much on. Hartley in, and this time Ackerman manages to work it past Villas, but only as far as Davies coming in off the boundary, and it is just 1. Really having to work for every run at the moment. Leicestershire, they're not losing wickets. They have wickets in hand, but they are falling increasingly behind the run rate. Lancashire crowd responding. In goes Hartley, tries to swat it away. Steele doesn't get anything on it, and that is one pretty good over. Just the 2 runs for it. No wonder Hartley is getting congratulated by all his teammates.
And that's the other thing with all these spinners in your side. Lancashire will try and whip through these overs and really take the time away from Leicester. It's a real danger period when you don't have the momentum, and before you know it, you look up and suddenly, you know, 5 or 6 overs have gone and you haven't really gone anywhere.
Spin continues. Livingston in and bowling. And he's beaten Ackerman. Butler just clips off the bails. Fizzed him with a bit of extra pace first up from Livingston.
Lancashire would 21 ahead at this stage, 99 for 3.
Bales are back on. And Livingston comes back in and balls again, goes through the onside, high, out towards the region of Stephen Croft again. It'll bounce safely and over the rope for 4. And Ackerman this time, I think perhaps his heart didn't skip a beat as much as the previous one. In between deep mid-wicket and long on. 1 bounce over the rope, 4 runs for Colin Ackerman. Boundary much needed for the Foxes, 82 for 2.
Very needed, but that's a risky shot into that part of the ground. Thread of the needle, but I wouldn't be too...
Top short this time with Livingston, and it's swatted away through the offside. Think about a second, they're going to come back. It could be tight, throw comes in, but in the end, Ackerman back 4-2. He moves to 17, 84 for 2.
Yeah, I think Livingston won't mind Ackerman trying to hit him into that part of the ground. So, yeah, game on. But Ackerman knows, stick or twist, really. He can't let these Lancashire spinners bowl at him.
89 required, 51 balls left. Ackerman 17 from 15. And plenty of bottom hand, forcing it through the onside, through mid-on. Croft comes up from long on. Ackerman gets a single. And he moves to 18, 85 for 2.
It'll be interesting to see how Steele reacts here. He's got 1-4 of 27 balls. Opening at the top of the innings as well.
Livingston into him. It's a half shuffle forward and then just pushes it a little tighter into the body, Liam Livingston, so he has to just drop it out into the onside. And Livingston off his own bowling field. 1 run to Steele. He moves to 25. Again, at a stage where it's 1 ball left in the over. This is the final ball of the 12th. Livingston comes over the wicket and bowls. High goes Ackerman, who's underneath it. Croft gets himself set, takes the catch. Ackerman departs, put down by Croft after a really tough chance a few moments ago. But Croft in position to watch it safely into his hands. And Ackerman having to take on Liam Livingston, looking for boundaries. But into the big buckets of Stephen Croft's hands. 86 for 3.
Yeah, as I was saying earlier, I don't think Liam would have minded him trying to hit into that part of the ground. It's a really tough shot to play. Trying to swipe it over towards long on into the long part of the ground. And Crofty wasn't going to make any mistakes with that one into his buckets. So, yeah, that was coming, I feel. The challenge for Leicester now is how they're going to wrestle some of this momentum back. Lancashire are definitely on top now.
Still been with a chance after 16, 17 overs, haven't they? They've just got to keep going, Leicestershire, and hope that they can maybe get 30 or 40 off the last 3, something like that. Give themselves a chance. Take it as deep as they can. Hill will be busy from the start, but they need Steele to step up a little bit. 25 off 28 for him at the moment. The batsman crossed, so Hill will be on strike to Hartley, who is in. Bowls, he goes back and hesitates momentarily as he hits it out into the offside. There's an appeal for a run out, but Steele made his ground. Steele didn't hesitate. He called and went straight away. Bailey's throw was a good one, but although Buckler whipped off the bails, Steele had made his ground. Having to take these chances now. Leicestershire 87 for 3. At this stage, Lancashire 102 for 4. Umpire Blackwell has done his work. Retreats to square leg. Hartley in, drops a little bit short, pulled by Steele, but straight out to deep mid-wicket. Bounces a long way in front of him, of course. And Allen, it is out there. Good flat throw, bounces a couple of times into the gloves of Buckler. Again, just 1. And 1 a ball is far from being enough. In goes Hartley, bowls. Top edge, attempted sweep by Hill, should be caught at deep backward square. Comfortable catch in the end for the left armer Luke Wood. Just didn't get it, Lewis Hill, and in the end it was a fairly straightforward catch for Wood, and the pressure beginning to tell on the Foxes.
Yeah, it's tough for them now. This is going to be a difficult chase. Steele has got to find a way to get some rhythm, dealing in ones, putting pressure on the other end. He's been there the longest. He's had a chance to try and get used to the pace of this pitch. He's got to take the responsibility now to try and up the momentum himself. He can't leave it to the other end. Otherwise, unfortunately, I think they will be left short.
It's been difficult all night, though, hasn't it, to do that? You know, to try and up the pace, to try and score quickly. Finn Allen's 73 off 51 balls. Butler's 22 off 16. Villas 16 off 13 balls. Croft 21 off 14. It's been a tough night with the bat.
It's been tough. Yeah, no, they're clearly not able to get the timing on this wicket.
Hartley is in and bowls, worked out into the leg side again by Steele. He's been joined by Rishi Patel. Only ever going to be one there, though. Steele on to 27, 89 for 4.
The only thing I would say is that the batsmen who have struck it well have actually tried to hit it hard down the ground, on the ground, so not trying to go aerial. If you get stuck between trying to chip it for 1s or 2s and then trying to go big for 6, I think they're struggling.
Hartley in to Patel, who does drive fairly conventionally. Really square on the offside, out to Davies, who's fielding in front of the old press box. Not sure what it is now, some sort of a, I would think, suite of some kind, or sponsor suites perhaps. In goes Hartley, bowls a little bit short, goes down on one knee and pulls it out into the leg side, of course. Steele, but only again, he's picking out fielders all the time, only again as far as Finn Allen at deep. Wicket single off the last ball, 91 for 4 after 13, but Hartley 1 for 13 from 3 overs.
Yeah, and that's something you'll probably go away and have a look at tonight. He must have hit about 6 or 7 balls exactly the same, straight out to that man, deep cow. You know, after the first 2, the shot's not wrong, but that's where he has to get better with his hands, better with his feet. Hit the same shot, but he should be pushing that ball 10, 15 yards to the left or right of that fielder. Get 2. If he hits it really well, he gets 4. He'll learn from that.
Final over of Livingston coming up. He's bowled 3, 1 for 20 so far. Patel looking to try and chop the ball into the offside, but picked up by Hartley inside the ring, and there's no run. There's a deep backward point. There's a deep square leg, deep mid-wicket, long on, long off. Down the ground, this is gone from Patel, and all the way for 1 bounce and 4. It disappears down below at the commentary position here. Umpire Blackwell signals a 4, but he hit it hard, he hit it back over the bowler's head. Here it goes towards the sight screen. 1 bounce over the rope, and 4 runs as signalled by the Lancashire captain, Dame Villas. 95 for 4. Steele on to 32. He's shuffling back, and this time he's working the ball out toward deep point for 1 run. And the score ticks along to 96 for 4. Steele on to 33, so Patel on strike. Livingston, 3 balls left of his work with the ball this evening. Little into-out shot, but nicely played, scooped over extra cover. A little dance down the pitch. And there's Finn Allen to pick up the ball. Throw comes in, 1 run. Correction, 2 runs for Patel. Moves up to 3. Score moves on to 98 for 4. 75 required, 38 balls left. Hits the ball along the ground through mid-on. Just for a single. Up to 4. 99 for 4 with 1 ball remaining of the 14th over. Steele's on strike, 33 from 34. Just hit his 2nd boundary of this innings. It's been hard work for him tonight. Not the only batsman to find it difficult, though. Going back and cutting out towards deep backward point. And that brings up the 100 for the Foxes. 100 for 4. 14 overs gone. Mind of the target is 173 to win the game.
Yeah, Leicester need probably 2 big overs here to get themselves back into it. You know, if they can get an over with a 20-run over, or 2 overs up in the 18s, then they might wrestle this game back into their favour. But they can't leave it too late.
As you hear, Matt Parkinson is back. 2 overs, 1 for 8. What will Steele make of him? In he goes and bowls and goes back and just turns it away towards the man at short backward square, sort of short fine leg really in the end, and a single taken comfortably enough by Steele. But he's still only at about 100% at the moment, Steele. 35 off 36. Did at least manage to hit another boundary in that previous over. Parkinson is in to Patel, uses his feet nicely and hits it firmly down to long gone. Didn't overhit it again, but used his feet well. He's already, in the short time he's been at the crease, he looks to be playing a little bit, I hesitate to use the word, but more intelligently in terms of his placement and using his feet.
Yeah, lovely shot, good intent, good positive cricket. I agree with you, he's looked really composed so far.
Parkinson is in to him again. He waits for it, then goes down on one knee, and again he's found the gap over there at mid-wicket, between mid-wicket and square leg, and 2 in a row that he hasn't swung away mightily, but he's placed really nicely. 109 for 4. Patel showing just why he's been brought into the T20 side. Parkinson in again. Patel again uses his feet, and then he turns his wrist on it, clips it away, and again he's found the gap, which means that 1 becomes 2. Has to work hard down there, Alan, to get to the ball from mid-wicket out towards a very straight mid-wicket, between mid-wicket and long gone. Patel picks up 2, 14 off 6 for him, 111 for 4. Parkinson in again, uses his feet and then lofts it over extra cover. Villas thought for a minute he was going to be in the game, wasn't quite. Out towards long off the ball went. Patel picks up 1, 15 off 7, 112 for 4. Showing Steele the way, perhaps, in a way. Steele waits, 1 ball left of Parkinson's 3rd over to go. He's in and bowls. He tries to whack it away off middle and leg, doesn't get anything on it, comes off the pad, bounces out into the offside, no run. However, a relatively, by Parkinson's standards, at least for Leicestershire, productive over. 112 for 4 of 15.
That's really good intent there from Patel, and it shows the difference in mindset. You know, Steele from the start was very circumspect against Parkinson, sort of let him bowl at him, and that means every time he's tried to play a big shot, he just hasn't got his timing right. Patel has come in, hasn't tried to go big, used his feet intelligently, swept, hit down the ground, played a real intent. Really good inning so far.
Hartley to complete his allocation. Patel off his front foot there, back foot up in the air, punching it firmly down the ground for a single. 113 for 4, 60 off 29.
130 for 4 Lancashire at this stage, so they've just narrowed the gap very slightly.
Left arm around the wicket, it'll shuffle down the pitch. Steele drives into the offside, pick up and throw from Villas towards the keeper's end. They've got through for a single. 114 for 4. Steele moves up to 36, brings Patel back on strike. 16 from 8. He's got going, he's got a couple of boundaries, he wants another one here, he's down the pitch. Trying to swap the ball, it'd be one almighty hit out towards that big leg side boundary, but he made no contact with the ball. Deflects back towards the ball at no run. Just 2 off the over so far. Just goes back and slashes the ball out towards deep backward square leg.
I am looking at this a bit frustrated at the fact that they know exactly what Hartley is doing here. Not one of these batsmen has stood outside the leg stump and tried to make him bowl even wider where he doesn't want to bowl. They're just standing in front of their stumps.
Hartley left arm around. I think Steele was getting in position to play perhaps a bit of a switch hit, and he just pulled away, did Hartley. Drifts back in again. Comes down towards him, flicks the ball down towards short fine leg. Gets through for a single. 1 ball left of the over, 116 for 4, so 57 required, 25 balls remaining. Patel on strike. Boundaries needed for the Foxes. Where they come from, it's hard to tell. Joss Butler has a little whisper into the ear of the captain, Dane Villas, but nothing changes as it's punched down through mid-off for a single by Patel. End of the over, 117 for 4, 16 overs gone. So a good one, as appreciated by Liam Livingston. The red brick building that you mentioned before, Richard, the old press box, it's the Red Rose Suite. Well, the club today have announced plans to actually demolish that. Ooh. And be part of plans to create a 1,000 seater stand, a heritage centre, a guest service hub, a new retail store facing the Brian Statham Way, and a new stand which will replace that Red Rose Suite will include an enhanced pitch viewing facilities for Lancashire members, comprising of a dual aspect suite located within the spectator viewing terrace. How exciting.
Well, our groundsman's going to get a new hut soon, so. In goes Lamb and bowls, and a swing and a miss. It stepped across and tried to hit it into the leg side, Patel, and didn't get anything on it. 117 for 4 after 16, 132 for 6 after 16, Lancashire. So they're not quite out of the game yet, the Foxes. In goes Lamb and bowls. Patel hits hard over long off for 6. Hard and high and, well, not so high actually. It was flattish in the end, and just for a second it looked as though Longeff just might be able to get his right hand there, but really nicely timed by Patel, who has impressed since he came in fairness.
I like the look of him. He's been really composed. Played some good, sensible cricket.
Keeping Leicestershire in with a sniff. In goes Lamb and bowls to him. He steps across and tries to hit into the leg side. Bottom edges it slightly out towards deep backward square. Wood comes in from there. Throws on the bounce to Butler. So just a single on that occasion to Patel. 25 off 14 for him. Steele badly needs to come to the party now as far as the Foxes are concerned. He's on strike to Lamb, who is in and bowls to him. He has come to the party because he's dropped it a little bit short, and Steele puts it into the temporary stand over there on the far side at deep mid-wicket. Well, that was the ball he's been waiting for, in fairness, and he tucked in.
Yeah, I think Danny Lamb would want to take that ball back if he had the chance. He couldn't have put that into a better position for Steele. Halfway down, nice gentle pace. Steele was set, ready to play that shot.
But to state the obvious, this is the over. This type of over is what was absolutely required by the Foxes, and it's worked so far, hasn't it?
Yeah, and they need to keep going.
They do.
Two balls left. They need to target that, and that's why Joss and Dane Villas run over to Danny Lamb, and they recognise he needs to get out of this over without any more damage.
13 from the first 4 balls then. Butler jogs back to his position behind the stumps. Lamb will have absorbed, I'm sure, all the words of wisdom. In he comes, past umpire O'Shaughnessy, and bowls, and it's fullish outside off stump. Steele gets plenty on it, but it goes straight to Bailey at backward point. A couple of yards either side, that would have raced away.
Has Patel got Steele going a little bit as well, do you reckon, the way that he's come out and batted?
He's definitely taken the pressure off him.
Yeah.
It's been a good knock from Patel.
It has.
Lamb, to finish his over, is in to Steele, who just waits for it just outside off stump and dabs it down towards short third man and takes the 1. So he did get out of the over. Okay, Danny Lamb just a single from the last 2 balls. A couple of 6s earlier in the over, however, means it is 131 now for 4 off 17. At this stage, Lancashire 141 for 7.
See, if you're in the Foxes dressing room, Stephen, from the stage, 42 required, 18 balls left, what you happy to take going into the final over?
10.
Blimey, better be 2 good overs here.
You need 2 good overs. It depends. I mean, look, you don't want to leave too many. I think this ground is a hard ground to score, get a big over from, so you don't want to leave it to the last over.
Parkinson comes back into the attack, 1 for 20. In and bowls. Steele goes on the reverse, but doesn't get a hold of it. Cloths it out into the onside just for a single.
And this is a chance. This is the first over Parkinson's bowled from this end.
Patel's on 25 from just 14. Just about keeping the Leicestershire Foxes alive in the match. This is swatted away through the onside out towards deep mid-wicket, but bouncing and bobbling along the ground. So just the 1. Patel to 26 now, 133 for 4, 40 required with 16 balls left. Down the pitch, the ball goes one way, the bat goes the other. Steele skips towards the bowler. The ball disappears out towards the offside. The bat, well, that's flying out towards the square leg umpire, who picks it up and slowly walks up towards Steele and says, "There you go, son. You can have your bat back on 34 for 4."
The bat went almost further than the ball there.
Steele to 46. Parkinson twirls his way in. Ball shuffles down the pitch. Patel times it beautifully. 6 just when it was required. Watch out on the Foxes' balcony. They dart out of the way of the ball. Paul Nixon picks it up, gives it a bit of a look, says, "Happy days. More of that, please, Patel." 140 for 4. 2 balls left of the 18th.
That's a really beautiful shot there. He's danced down the wicket, but he's used his feet wisely, given himself a little bit of room, so he hasn't come down straight at the ball. Beautiful. Didn't try and force it on drive over the long one. Easily cleared the boundary.
50 partnership as well from 31 balls. Parkinson in. It's Flattery. He goes again out towards the onside. Croft comes round and takes a wonderful catch. And there's a couple of press-ups as well. There's still life in the old dog yet. 140 for 5. But Patel's wonderful innings, a really gem of an innings for Leicestershire, just keeping them in the game, comes to an end with a couple of push-ups from Stephen Croft. 140 for 5.
Yeah, nice catch that. Very experienced in that position. Crofty got himself set, moving well to his right, down low. Made a difficult catch look pretty easy there in the end, but an innings there from Patel that's given his side a chance. But someone else is going to have to take up the baton here. Someone else is going to have to keep this momentum that he's given him. They can't take the foot off the gas.
Well, it's a great little knot, wasn't it, from Patel? I mean, he's having to keep going, isn't he, and play those types of shots.
Absolutely, but it was the composure that he played with. Yep. He played good cricket shots, made good decisions, and he showed intent, and you could see the pressure he was putting on the bowlers. He wasn't forcing it. Some of the other batsmen have come in, kind of been block, chip, and then tried to go for a big shot, and was played into Lancashire's hands.
Well, the 6 in this over was as good a shot we've seen all night.
Beautiful, yeah. Just stroked. Yeah. And it just shows what good timing, good feet can do. Don't have to force the ball.
He got 32 from 17. Steele's on strike. Ben Mike's the new batsman. Steele will push up towards mid-off for a single, and he'll keep the strike. Well, a wicket in the over, but not without a bit of damage, which is just keeping the Foxes in there. 141 for 5 is the Leicestershire Foxes total after 18 overs. So 2 overs remain, 32 required.
Yeah, they're 10 behind where Lancashire were. 1-5, 1-4-7. As you say, it's now just about the runs per over equation. And the first of those last 2 overs look like it's going to be bowled by Luke Wood from the Anderson end, and he's going to be bowling to Scott Steele. Ben Mike comes down and has a word. Mike hits a long ball. Hit the last ball of the match against Yorkshire last season, 4-6 to win it, when Leicestershire needed 3 off the last ball. But the bowler then was Adam Lyth, and he very kindly tossed it up. Off spinner. Mike's eyes lit up, and he hit it into the pavilion. I don't think he's going to get that sort of delivery in these last 2 overs. Wood then to Steele. In comes the left armour, and Bowles tries to ramp it, but just from outside off stump. It's a full delivery, misses off stump by not very much at all, goes between the batsman and the off stump, believe it or not, through into the gloves of Butler. 32 needed off 11. Looks like they're going to fall short, the Foxes.
It was the right shot, just missed his execution there, Steele.
Fine leg and third man both up on the edge of the circle. The Lancashire crowd beginning to enjoy themselves now, as in goes Wood, and Bowles full toss, steered out into the offside. Villas dives across, it bounces horribly just in front of him on a used strip. He could almost have collected that one on his nose, fortunate not to do so, and fielder out on the boundary. I think it's Davies out there, means just a couple to Steele. Moves on to 49 or 47. But this is where Allen began to accelerate nicely, didn't he? Or began to get his big runs.
They need 2 boundaries, yeah.
They do. Wood is in, bowls 2 Steele, who works it to short-armed sort of pull out towards deep mid-wicket. It is only going to be 1 though, however much Mike might want to try and turn it into 2. Allen gets to the ball quickly. 144 for 5, 29 off 9. Couple of maximums.
That would be
At the very least.
Would, yeah.
I think I'll take 2 boundaries of any kind right now, just to give them a sniff in that last over.
Wood going to stay over to Ben Mike. Ben, just go and hit 30 off the last 8 for us. Do your job. In goes Wood. Pass on Perot Shaughnessy, bowls to Mike, who does drive. It goes straight through Villas, who somehow didn't manage to get anything on it. Shouldn't be too much damage. A couple, well, might make it actually into 3 because Davis out there. Ball possibly getting a little bit of dew on it by now. Doesn't take it cleanly, and Mike picks up 3.
I'm going to correct you and say it's Tom Bailey there. I think the captain, Dane Villas, will be upset if he keeps getting blamed for the ball going through and they're at extra cover.
He has been there.
He has been there.
But Bailey is the taller man. Not by much, but he's definitely the taller man. Wood to finish his, got a couple left down on the offside and tries to do a little reverse paddle. Steele doesn't get anything on it again.
If you can play that shot, it's the right shot to play. You know what Wood's doing. He's firing into Yorkers here. But if you can't, it's a tough job to try and hit that.
Yes, it's good bowling. Crowd thoroughly enjoying itself now. 26 needed off 7 as Wood to finish his over is in, and bowls to Steele, who cloths it rather, slices it over the top of Bailey. Fields was almost getting each other's way, but in the end it's Davis who gets there, and a couple for Steele to finish the over. 149 for 5 off 19. It isn't enough. Good over by Wood.
Yeah, good over. You did exactly what his captain wanted. Yeah, the short boundary on the leg side. He had the big boundary on the offside to the batsman, so he just came over the wicket, the left-hander, fired in the Yorker, wide outside off stump, every single delivery. The batsman tried to do the ram shot, but they were struggling. Kept it simple Wood there, and unfortunately, I reckon 24 of the last overs, probably just bit too tall a ask, but you never know.
Time for a sing-song then, wasn't it? Well,
yeah. Sorry?
Time for a sing-song then.
Look at it, yes.
Do you think Neil Diamond gets a few quid for each time?
I think Neil Diamond loves
needs it.
T20 cricket.
Yes, but he must have.
Neil Diamond's a massive fan of T20 cricket.
I wonder if he's ever been to a T20 game. It's like baseball, Neil. Sort of.
So 24 off the last over. Well, there'll be fireworks here if the Foxes can get 24 from 6. Lamb is in and bowling. This is Mike on strike, and that's heaved away through the onside. Davis lets it bounce in front of him. They'll come scampering back for a second. 22 off 5.
If the fielders on the leg side have any sense, they will be standing with their shoes on the boundary and making sure they don't walk in. 2 a ball is fine.
In fact, 1 or 2 are over the boundary rope. Deep backward square, deep mid-wicket. Long on. Lamb is in and bowling. And looking to heave it away into the onside. The cheers from the Lancashire supporters as the ball deflects out into the offside. 21 required off 4. Lancashire Lightning eyeing up a second successive T20 win to start the competition. There's loads and loads of group games. We're back to a full complement of group games. You can have time to absorb a few defeats and still qualify comfortably. Muscled away into the onside. Davis comes up again, just content to allow the ball to bounce safely in front of him and catch it on the bounce. Doesn't want to be wrong-footed. Seeing that ball deviate past him for 4. 20 off 3. So 153 for 5. So Lancashire Lightning going to hit the ground running with a couple of wins to start the competition. Clubbed back over the bowler's head. Up comes Stephen Croft, who took a terrific catch just a few moments ago and throws in, and they get through for a single. And make some noise flashes up on the electronic scoreboard inside Emirates Old Trafford. It's by no means the usual capacity, of course, but those inside the ground have enjoyed the evening. 2 balls left. This is swatted away through the onside again, just allowing it to bounce. Wood content to make no silly mistakes, and that will be that. 155 for 5, 18 off the final ball. In what has been, in the end, a fight, a scrap for runs. It's not been a batsman's game. They've had to work hard for the runs. You lot?
Some batsmen have found it easy and some have really struggled.
Final ball of the game. High into the Manchester air. The ball sent. Who wants it? Anybody? No, it'll land safe. More height than distance.
There, wasn't he? Daniel Lamb was going, I'm getting one. I have to have one. This is mine.
And that is the end of the game. And Lancashire Lightning have completed a victory, the margin of which I think is 15.
156, yeah, so 16.
16 run win. Congratulations then to Lancashire Lightning. 2 successive wins to start the competition. And what at the end was quite a kind of nip and tight game, wasn't it? It was a game where runs were hard to score.
Yeah, at one point there, Leicester got a little bit of a roll on, especially when Patel came in and he played such a good little cameo there, put some impetus back into the game. And equally, right at the start, Lancashire would have been a little bit worried with Inglis playing such a beautiful knock. Yeah, so it was interesting. It could have been Leicester's night if they just managed to take that momentum.
That was probably the key, wasn't it? They needed another 3 or 4 overs, probably from Inglis, Leicestershire. I think Lancashire will be delighted to have come through in 2 tight-ish sort of games that, you know, they found a way to win them both, and that bodes really well for Lancashire going forward in this competition. Leicestershire won't be entirely discouraged, I don't think. They showed enough with both bat and ball to think that they're going to win a few games in the competition, and if they can get a bit of momentum and get a few roles sorted out, perhaps maybe look at the top of the order a touch, then they can be hopeful of making progress in the competition. But yeah, Lancashire look a good side in this competition.
Yeah, they look like a balanced squad. They've got lots of depth in the bowling, as we highlighted earlier, and with Joss Butler there for the first 6 games. That's obviously a big draw. So yeah, I think both sides will walk away from this pretty happy. Lancashire haven't played their best cricket, but they did go into this game with at least 1 game under their belt to work out those cobwebs. Leicester, you know, would have been a little bit rusty, but I think you're right, they'll walk away and be happy that they've had a run out, had a bit of a good chance. Everybody's had a bit of a chance to have a bat and a bowl, and I'm sure they'll go into the next game. There's plenty of games to come.
Yeah, for sure. Derbyshire tomorrow at the Upton Steel County Ground for Leicestershire.
I think that we mentioned this actually yesterday, that both Lancashire and Derbyshire looked a little bit rusty at times. It is the Foxes' first game, and you're going to develop a bit of momentum and kick on as you go on, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to be peaking in your 2020 game now, and no one is.
No.
Even Lancashire, they look a little bit rusty on some areas of the game. They've got 2 wins, haven't played their best cricket, and the same thing for Leicester. As long as they're working towards something, there's some interesting players in that side. I think that Patel, I don't know how old he is. How old is Patel?
I think he's 24.
Okay, he looked like a good player, and obviously Naveen.
Excellent. For those on Lancashire Cricket TV, I think we're going to a bit of a reaction pitch side. We've got Hugh. Who have you got, Hugh? Here on the BBC Sport website and app. We will wrap things up. Derbyshire then, Richard, for Leicestershire tomorrow. A home fixture tomorrow for the Foxes against Derbyshire.
Correct. Yes, indeed.
Excellent.
6:30 at the Upton Steel.
With some fans in?
Yes.
Excellent.
Yeah, 750 of them. And
I think Lancashire are there in the not too distant future as well, so we'll look forward to the trip there. Lancashire are next in action on Sunday. New Road. one of your old stomping grounds.
Well, yeah. Oh, God, that is taking me even further back in time. Yeah.
Well, we'd like to go down memory lane.
No, yeah, that'll be interesting. Yeah, it's depending on where they play, but Lancashire will be happy that they've had 2 games under their belt. They will be wanting to iron out some of the areas which look a little bit rusty, particularly in some of the batting and the fielding. But New Road will be a different prospect. Much smaller ground. So expect some high scores.
Good stuff. Look forward to it. Oh, that would be Moeen playing for Worcestershire.
It will be,
yeah.
yes.
Moeen against Joss. That's quite good, isn't it? Yeah. Excellent. Thank you for your company. Really enjoyed it. Thank you, Richard. Thank you, Stephen.
Enjoyed it. Thank you.
For BBC Radio Lancashire listeners, BBC Radio Leicester listeners, for those on the BBC Sport website and app, we shall sign off from Emirates Old Trafford on this Thursday evening. It's a defeat, an opening day defeat for Leicestershire Foxes, but loads of group games left and lots of positive to take from today's game. That's for certain. In particular, the way that Rishi Patel came out to bat, and of course that innings from Josh Inglis. As for Lancashire Lightning, well, a half century for Finn Allen, 73 not out, and for Lancashire Lightning, a couple of wickets for Matt Parkinson as well. And we must mention Gavin Griffiths. Blimey, 4 for 24 from 4 overs. A great night for the former Lancashire man in the Foxes shirt this evening. That's it from us here from Old Trafford. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday evening.